What's happening as we head into the final couple of hours on a busy Tuesday. Remember, started off way back when with inflation data. We'll get to that in a second. Comes out a little bit higher than expected for February CPI. Wanted to mention to kick things off here on that note today, yields across the board back to the upside, the dollar back to the upside as well. I was just checking here, 4.319 currently for the US 30-year. We're back to about 4.2 once again for the 10-year as well. So we're still inverted, but market doesn't care. Back to highs here. Just notice Costco here having a great day, 3.5%. Just took out highs all the way back to 740 for Costco. Huge move higher for COST. When we were talking about 2 days ago on earnings, Broadcom downside, although catching decent bounce right now. Off that 1265 once again on decent volume back to the upside. AVGO standing out as one of the weak chip makers right now. The rest very, very positive, 1.4 for AMD. Yep, 5% if you hadn't looked yet today for Nvidia on top of everything that's already happened. Nice day for Micron as well. 1.8% back to the upside. Look at the rest of these. Everything higher, including Oracle, we'll get to here in a sec off earnings. Netflix, IBM even now up 4.25%. Amazon, Costco, as I said, Walmart and Home Depot, some strength in retail. Everything else trying to get back higher currently. That's the overall market. We get all the way up here to 443 on the Qs this morning, bit of a pullback, but trying to rally right now. Someone thinks Powell will be upset. If you missed it this morning, the CPI print, it came in basically in line with expectations. There were portions of the core number that did come out a little bit higher. So it was 0.4% on a month-over-month basis versus 0.3. If you dig into that, it's in the housing and rental. It's the same argument that we've been talking about over the past few months, but no change. The bottom line, basically no change on inflation yet, higher or lower. So the initial move in the market to the upside, maybe because it wasn't substantially higher, but a lot to consider as we get into the afternoon here. Let's touch on what we were talking about. If you're with us in the first hour this morning, make sure you join us every morning at 8:30. We get you set for the open and everything you need to know. In the pre-market, semiconductors were top of the list. I mean, it was really about Nvidia and also Oracle coming off earnings. I mean, there was a deal announced between the two, as we saw, 15% for Oracle, 5% for Nvidia. We'll get to ARM here in a second, but back and forth we go here, guys, for ARM. Nvidia, meanwhile, huge day once again.
Yeah, just looking at this, Oracle bounced off that one. I mean, it's up to 128 and stuff. All right, we're short AMD here, but yeah, Nvidia, what a monster day again. I mean, this might be the play. And that is wait for everybody to think that it's the end of the world for chip names and then just buy it back up. Like, that's what happened here off the open. Everyone was like, oh my God, here we go again. And it was, man, it was $20 straight to the downside. But that $20 looks small considering this goes from 860 back to 910 and giving you 50 back in your face if you're short. So shorts win there, don't win there. The best thing to do, I feel like, if you're trapped in this, is just play the opening ranges. So if you're short, I don't have any trades on this today, but if you're short here, you maybe get out of the way at 882 when it breaks higher, and that might be your signal long. And the same thing here for the break short, 874 to the downside. So a little bit of both. You're still hovering around 900 right now. Going to be pretty interesting. Good drop into VWAP. I think that's pretty strong, the hold there. So maybe it does continue to work to the upside of right now goes Nvidia. But again, banging its head on the 200. But I really like the VWAP hold, break through the 200 and start to go higher. So here we go, coming back in for Nvidia. Let's see if it holds 900 again.
It's like if you thought this thing was gonna die, nope. Double bottom yesterday at 850, so the pullback, the $100 move down, if that's the end of the move and we're just going up from here, I think a lot of people didn't get the money in on Nvidia and a whole host of other names. We're going to look at some big cap tech charts at some point this afternoon because I feel like I really, really want to. If this is the only dip that we got, then you didn't get much of a dip, and there's some money that's like, what the heck did we just miss? So Nvidia, I had one long, as usual, I take it to a target, and then it goes even higher. I think it's VWAP right now. As Shar already mentioned, VWAP is the play here. I'm in AMD as well. I've been scalping it, and I'm in Intel off the $45 level. But wow, Nvidia is just absolutely taking names out.
Oh, yeah.
But do not sleep on. Look, Nvidia's having a big day, and I know we've said a bunch about Nvidia up 5%, but Nvidia's not at the high of the day. You know what is at the high of the day ish? SMCI. 7.5% to the upside. It is also flying. Do not want to sleep on SMCI. Newest edition on the, what is it, the 18th?
Yes. Yes,
18th.
that and Decker. There goes AMD through 201.
I just got out of AMD. Okay, I was up on
point in
AMD
fighting.
until that moment right there. Now I'm slightly down on AMD as I took out that last top. No, but yeah, joining Deckers is SMCI on the 18th in the S&P 500, and it's still going up off that news.
All right, let's talk ARM here. Just a reminder, guys, go check out the mobile version. It's available across YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok as well. So if you want to have it, you know, on an iPad or your phone or something off to the side, it's very easy to grab. Again, mobile version available across all the platforms. Yeah, just like that. Thanks, Ramin. Good job. Let's talk about ARM. It was pretty wild out of the gate here this morning for ARM. Initially into the open, we rip all the way up to 134. Then it just absolutely collapsed down to 120. Hasn't done much since for ARM on lockup day.
Yeah, Brendo, it was 1 million shares that was available for trading up until today. SoftBank had been holding about 90% of the shares there, so they'd release some more, and it had a lot of volatility on the day, Brendo. It did about almost 15 million shares, rivaling that of Taiwan Semi. Let's see what the rest of the day brings.
Yeah, volume dying off now, but back to that resistance area right now, guys.
Oh yeah, okay. I mean, I just took ARM again. I should have got out. We did pretty good. We got out at 126. We waited for VWAP. We could have got out at the very bottom. That's right at the open when everything was going haywire. We weren't sure where it was going to stop. Then I said to myself, if we break back above VWAP after making this low, it started creeping down into 125. We got out at 126 there. Then we just reshorted right now against, what was it, 128. Right there. So pretty good trade, but we did touch VWAP, so now we're bidding down there. It doesn't look like it was much of a day here on ARM. So great morning. We saw that imbalance come in at 925. That sent us to the downside, and the bottom 122. So I just feel like if you're trying to build an ARM position right now, maybe you have a level that you might want to play off of 122. The next time we see a big imbalance, we can see if 122 holds again, but it did today. So that's a pretty good level. We're going to try to bid some out here at 126.
Yeah, I'm slapping the fail because I was looking for a hammer on ARM and it never came. So we kept trying to reload it and then hold for bigger moves, and then that was not the approach. The scalp trade should have been the way to go. There was that flush. Every time it got back underneath yesterday's bottom, I thought that was the floodgates opening back up again. So I'd scalp to there and look for the bigger move. It hasn't happened yet, but remember what we said. A couple of times we said this. Just because SoftBank can sell the shares doesn't mean they just come in and start dumping things all over the place, or everyone's going to be dumping their shares. It's just the ability to. And so I don't think if it's going to unwind, there's plenty of time for this to happen. So today being flat on ARM, I still think it's very reasonable. We could look in a couple of weeks, and this could be down at like $100 or breaking that level. And I just want to keep trying big breakdown trades every time they get there. I'm looking at 129 in the afternoon. I didn't go back into it off 129, but that's the level I'm looking at for ARM. If it gets back up and does like a failed break, I feel like waiting for it to fail break, these wicks are good entries. The wicks above 28 have been good places. I'm looking for a failed break along those lines to get back into ARM. But yeah, it looks like there wasn't a ridiculous amount of selling. There was some at the open, but there wasn't a heck of a lot of follow through. I'm not sure this story is over with.
All right, let's go to Chinese ADRs on a bounce right now as well, or trying to get back above key levels here. We're running into resistance. I noticed on a few of these daily charts, we're back to significant levels. BABA included in one of those. We get a huge gap to the upside this morning. It fades that. And we've done not a heck of a lot since, but still pretty strong relatively on the day.
And I don't know if you saw this report, Brendo, but Morgan Stanley maintaining Li Auto with an outperform.
How dare they?
I know, and a price target upgrade, Brendo, from 63 to 74. If you could show my screen, guys. So Li Auto very strong on the day, up over 9%. These Chinese ADRs are all in the green after the high CPI and PPI prints from yesterday.
To your credit, You did say you wanted to buy it again.
I am looking to bamboozle my way in again, Brendo.
High stepping it into the end zone.
Liato's a good one. I just want to say we are now $2 in the money as we'll spin it for Nvidia. We finally went long. It breaks 903. We talked a little bit about that. So I just want to say I'm happy that we're finally stuck long onto something right there. But yeah, so there it goes. We'll take out a third for $1.50. That just went real quick. We actually got a pretty good price, man. 25 cents worth of slippage, 903.26, and we just got out at 904.50. So sorry, $1.25. And let's go now with Li Auto. But
I don't see a trade on Li Auto. I just wanted to.
No, it's great that he's. I mean, like Brendan said, though, I mean, you're going to be right to be wrong sometimes on some of these names. Hold on a second. I just want to see now, because now that we're actually in Nvidia here, that top is like 910. So I'm going to put in. I mean, I'd love to get there. If we do, that'd be good. 909. Let's see if we can get up to those levels right now on Nvidia.
Oh, before we.
Yeah,
Before we go, because this is the only chance I'll get to talk about NEO. China again, what else am I going to mention? NEO. So remember last week, I was like, oh, look for that break at $6.30 on NEO. It got right to that top. Oh, that wick is nasty. Oh, you annoy me. So there's the daily chart. That's a little better. So you look at 630, resistance on NIO. Where do you think it tagged almost to the dime before pulling back? So this is right back into play. And I think at some point, even NEO is going to go to the upside, and when it breaks this top and can hold above it, I'd look for the 630 break. That high is exactly $6.30 today it wicked. So one more penny and it would have broken out, and I probably would have had that to the long side. Maybe we can get it this afternoon. It's at 623. As a matter of fact, within 10 cents, I'm going to put my order in for that breakout. So it's not Li Auto, but it is NEO if it can break $6.30. Been waiting for that. Whoa, huh? Why do you start to fail on it? It's just a trade. You're not even involved in NEO at all in any way, shape, or form.
Why is this guy hating so much?
Why do you have to hate on it? It's just a trade. I'm not saying go out and buy a NEO. I'm not buying NEO shares in my personal account. I'm just simply pointing out a flat top break on NEO. I don't understand why you got to be hating on it so much.
I'm just trying to manage my Nvidia winner over here. But I love the NEO talk and the Li Auto talk. I don't know.
Unnecessary.
I feel like
unnecessary.
I feel like there's been some good talk there about the Chinese autos, but the one thing that we're missing here on this, we have Tesla coming up. Okay, so let's go back to the desk. We'll talk about Boeing, and then we'll talk about Tesla. I wanted to look at that chart, but we'll do that in a couple minutes.
All right, yeah, let's continue along. Boeing downside right now off 185. I was just hearing a couple of things on treasuries, but just check, no movement to speak of right now. 185 coming into play once again, which is support from this morning. I mean, there were so many things to talk about with this. This morning it failed 33 of 89 safety audits during an examination. That was 737 MAX 10. I mean, it goes on and on. They were using dish soap for lubrication on doors and whatnot. It was crazy.
It's a disaster, Brendo. And like, this is a company I genuinely want to root for. It's a company that I grew up really admiring, and I love airplanes. And so if, obviously if you're an airline enthusiast, you like Boeing. But in all seriousness here, the FAA conducted 89 product audits on Boeing. They passed 56 of them, failed 33. With respect to Spirit Aerosystems, with which they were connected as one company before, now they're contractors, 13 product audits. 6 of them resulted in passing, 7 failed. Things such as using a key card to check a door seal, to use liquid down soap as lubricant, Brendo. So, I mean, any number of things. Take your pick here.
The biggest move down came going into the open this morning. The final 15 minutes there, pretty aggressive downside with the overall market. But here we go again, guys, right now.
Look, we already slapped on, honestly. We slapped a Boeing sell earlier today. It was like, if they can't get their stuff together. The minute I heard something about dish soap, it was a wrap at that point. We tried to go
versatile stuff.
Yeah, we tried to go short 184 where we thought it was going to break. We had a keystroke error and punched out immediately. It didn't break 184, so I put the wrong price. But anyways, basically we didn't trade Boeing today. We should have hit that. And there was that sort of that take early where we said, you know what, this is a nightmare. Downside for Boeing. I don't think you need to even look at this name. There's so many Unless you just want to short pops, like VWAP was a pretty good pop there. I feel like that's fine.
Yeah,
but
VWAP looks good.
if we're just going to talk about, I mean, this is what it looks like here. There's really no support. The only support is on the daily, and you got to go back to that October low. There's not too many names. I mean, there's Tesla, there's going to be Boeing. There's not many other names that are bigger companies that are all the way back into October lows. So if you're looking for some value, maybe at some point Boeing's going to be it. It bounced from 175 all the way to 265. It put 90 bucks on its name. It could do it again if it smartens up, but you know, until we get the all clear from whoever, I mean, there's so many regulators now.
Goodness.
There's something in Europe, there's the FAA, there's some of these, we had today JetBlue or somebody coming out and saying they're not expecting to get any deliveries for a minute. So I don't know, I can't be too bullish on our friend over here, Boeing, and I did not even see the documentary. That would make me more bearish, I guess.
There's going to be a sequel to that documentary, that's for sure. At this rate, I mean, between the DOJ, dish soap, and also don't sleep on the hotel key card.
Right,
Thing
but that's
for
good, but I think that's actually not a bad idea.
Door sealing. You know what? The only thing I will add to that is, I like the VWAP retrace. That actually looks really good. It's at 185 on Boeing. But, you know, I got to throw it out there. Why wouldn't you at least have dropped what brand of dish soap that you used? Because like that way, if I know there's some extra versatility,
right?
Like, was it Dawn? I don't know. Did they use Dawn? Was it something else? Was it like off-brand? I have no idea. I just know this stock is an absolute dog. I had 2 shorts, 1 good, 1 bad, and it should have been a third at VWAP. That's about it. If we get a chance at VWAP and this market takes us up there, I think we got to look short. Stock is a short till it's not. Flat bottom break, at least until the October low, which is now $7 away on Boeing. Boeing, you suck.
All right, one more here. Tesla, back to where we started the day, essentially. I was just reading through this analyst note here. This is on RIVN, but they do point out Tesla, but suggesting, they make beautiful products, but they need to be able to prove that they can actually get them out the door. That was from RBC on RIVN today. But there was actually some headlines I saw floating around at the end of the day yesterday suggesting Apple should kick the tires on Rivian at this point because of the level of quality and the level of technology in these cars. We'll see.
I feel like it's not in Apple's DNA to acquire.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
It'll be interesting if they do that. We'll see. With respect to Tesla today, Brendo, I mean, we had that outage last week of the Berlin Gigafactory. Look, they're looking at producing about 375,000 Model Ys per year, about 1,000 a day. So every day this Gigafactory shut down, it's about 1,000 cars that aren't being built. Let's see what comes of this.
Yeah, we got a decent bounce on Tesla today, but Rivian, same flush out of the open this morning. Not much of a bounce for Rivian, though.
Yeah, I haven't traded Tesla today, but I am in Rivian. And if you remember this morning, there was no 13 break. So what worked yesterday, you never got an opportunity to trade off that level unless you shorted that level. And then when it failed this close, that is the close back on Thursday, which was support on Friday, and then higher support yesterday. Once it broke back under, and I've been shorting it back into the 1230. It's at 37 now. I'm short at 31.5. So if it breaks out, could take a 10-cent hit here as we are short underneath on Rivian. Down 2.5%. I mean, Tesla looks pretty strong. This might be interesting for an afternoon break. Like, look at the recovery on this. If it breaks it out at the top and the market gets going, that's a 179. The wick high here is like 179 quarter, let's call it. That doesn't look too bad for Tesla. I didn't realize how this has been pretty strong. Tesla breaks out
Look at that dump.
Like, look at the dump right back in. If it breaks out 179 quarter, you can be long into 180, which is better than punching the highs lately. So yeah, I don't mind this on Tesla. I'm going to throw that one up on a level 2 so that I can be locked and loaded if it's going to go. Elon, it's like watching a movie on Boeing. An informant reported committed suicide. Like that's we didn't even talk about the informant story, which I don't know the full details of it, so I don't want to sit here speculating. It's all the Boeing thing. It's not the. I mean, like with the it's obvious with the Epstein, but and with the Boeing one, I don't know the full story.
No,
but
I know
it doesn't help. It doesn't help anything.
I don't know. I'm always so suspicious about all this stuff all the time. Whenever we hear these kind of things, like I don't know. It's like that one guy that set his Tesla on fire, and then he complained that it got lit on fire, and then he had like puts on it or something. Nah, but it's just
but the amount of fake fires on the Tesla, it's more than one, right? Like,
yeah, I mean these aren't fake doors falling off Boeing planes,
several,
I don't think, but
several.
So we'll wait on that. Okay, so I was just going to talk a little bit there about Nvidia because it did come back into 03 again. And so we're still, I mean, we could take it out here and take 75 cents. It's printing everything off the ask. So I want to give it some room and see if we can get going up here. So we do have an offer now. I actually have it at 07, so it's actually higher than this wick. Maybe we should put it lower, but let's just see if it goes. My out's going to be a break back down below 900. Just want to see if this is going to be another one of those closes where we just start to rip into the close. But again, we're trying to hold above, and if we break it, then we can get out. So basically that trade, we already took $1.50 on a third of it, so it's fine. Although we'd like to win on the whole thing, we talk about this. And then I'm going to basically use this 50 period 901.50 as my out. But then I'm going to give it some slippage downside, right? So I think that's worth it there on the downside. What just happened to me? Oh, ARM. Okay, so again, as Nvidia, and I was going to actually talk about this, I just decided to get out of ARM. So ARM broke 128, and we just got out immediately. So what was a little bit in the money, it was not a big position. I was actually going to average this into 130, but now that Nvidia is going, which is finally starting to go $1.30, $1.50 now in the money. See what I mean? Now that this is starting to go, let's wait to see if we can do something real here and get Nvidia going and just punch out of ARM, save our profits from earlier, and now see what happens. So here we go. Nvidia hopefully can come upside, take out this 911, and then we'll see what happens there. I'm actually going to cancel this 906. 907 area. Let's see if we get higher. Let's see if we get back to 909-ish on Nvidia.
Yeah, I could see that. The way this market's going, if we're going to break highs, long the strong stocks. Oh, we didn't talk about, I feel like somewhere up there needs to be a category that we can work back to the Mag 7. I guess Tesla, or maybe could have talked about Nvidia. Because we didn't really talk about Mag 7 names today. Apple was like a lot of other things was dying this morning or getting crushed. Not dying. The stock falls $3. It's not really dying. But I tried several longs. We had 72 and we had 71 that we liked this morning. So 72 was no good. 71 was good. Then 72 came back in there. I missed that. But when the range says 73 to 72 and resistance turns into support, you know how I do about that. So we went long back on the dip into that previous resistance level and now looking for the high of the day on Apple. I want to be buying dips on Apple. It is strong. The NASDAQ is strong. Frank's coming on in 20 minutes, so I guess we'll rally the market there.
Oh, good.
As well.
I forgot about that.
Well, it's Tuesday, so I'm making the assumption that if he's not on the docket, then I apologize. I just saw this chat up here. So best phone, iPhone, Android, or landline. It's obviously, oh, we don't have Frank today, so we're not going to rally the market. That sucks. But I can tell you, we're missing at least one option. Landline. For old time's sake, you just put like BlackBerry, but it should have said other. Like there should be like an other. You can put a fourth thing in there. I'm going to say Android because I have Android, but I feel like
best phone.
The opportunity. Well, I mean, best phone, iPhone,
Samsung,
and like iPhone, Android, and landline. You're not really giving enough options there. I know you can only put 4 in the chat. But,
the other problem with that is Android is not a phone.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's an operating system. Like, you could have put Samsung, you could have put Google, and then you could put other. Like, other would have been a reasonable option there. So, anyways. Yeah. But I by default, I just voted for Android because I have a Pixel, but less than ideal.
All right.
Oh, wait, we have to go back to the desk?
Sure.
I thought we were done.
We're talking about volatility all week this week on How to Trade. Catch risk management in volatile markets tomorrow with Adara and I on How to Trade at 11.
Henry Chung, Nextel, Holla. Why not?
Okay, yeah.
Walkie-talkie.
Walkie-talkie. Oh, you know what we missed was we had a great trade on, I think like what, beepers, pagers? All right, so there's the break there on 41 to the downside on Roblox. That was a good trade, man. We did wind up breaking 40, but there's our out there at $40.10. So first out at the 200 period. Next out, I don't know, that was at 60s. So that's a good trade. Back 41, out there. Good trade on Roblox. I still like the name. I'm surprised it's down this much. And I actually did not look into why that was today, actually. I said I would if anybody in the chat knows why Roblox is down today. $40 holding on for that name. So we'll be patient with it and see if it goes. The other trade that I took that again, Pfizer was something on CNBC as like a halftime report or something like that. So I took it on volume spike. It just came up on a scanner there. We had some volume spike. And whenever Moderna or Pfizer or Eli Lilly or, a biotech name sort of has volume spikes, some of you know that could be a strategy. You see a volume spike in one of these names. It could
Unusual
be
options.
approval or options activity, like Neil mentioned, or something like that. So, we took the long, and it actually has been paying out. So it's been working out to the upside right now. We'll hold on to a little bit of that. So just for everybody, I mean, we're still going to be.
Did you see what happened to ARM?
It probably just went up and then down.
It went to 30.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying. We got out of that. So we got out of that pretty good. But here's a good short for ARM. I thought Nvidia could go for a jog, and now it's back to flat again. So
31 was that top on ARM, but I just wanted to quickly, because I checked for you, all I could see on Roblox was unusual options activity on Roblox. So as to the reason why it's moving, unusual options action there. But there's a move on ARM up to 130. 131 was yesterday's high. 131 was the morning range top as well. I'm not going to be in Roblox, I don't think. But that Tesla break, I mean, it's getting close. 179.25 would be the local high. That's the opening range top. And if it gets through 180 change, that's the 830 high. So that's the number high, to be sure. AMD, what's AMD doing? Do I want back into that thing? Oh, yeah. Wick top off 202. It doesn't look...
Market's pushing back in.
And this is the thing, the market's pushing back higher, so if it's going to be another wick top up here, AMD, I've managed to the worst trade was giving this probably an extra 40 or 50 cents that I didn't need to, but everything else has been at least, okay, I'll short it, take my profits, and be willing to just get out on a wick. Be willing to just get out with a tight stop. Get out with a tight stop. So that's been working ever since it's settled down. So getting back in underneath the 202 actually makes some sense here on AMD, just as long as I'm not seeing rip your face off levels on Nvidia. That's my litmus. If Nvidia is ripping faces off, then you don't need to be sitting on the offer of AMD. If it's not, then you can go for it.
It's not ripping anything right now. This is going to be a trade that I'm going to sit in right now. It's just going to be at Nvidia right now. So we'll have to watch out for that. 901.70. So that's... normally we would take something at the 50 period. I still think we can do that. Now, it's too bad that AMD is the one that's sort of falling down. We got stopped out there on our last short of AMD, but it did go up to that 202 again. Not that there was any reason for that, but...
Did we talk about Bitcoin's move?
Well, I was going to talk about Bitcoin because IBIT was such a crazy thing today.
How could we not have gone over that in the rundown?
70,000.
Yeah, good. No, talk about that move, please.
Yeah, Bitcoin made quite the move today, obviously, if you guys were paying attention to it, as we'll load it back up and zoom back in here. So there's the 73,000. We made that top. We were on the air when that happened. Nice top, and then it completely fell down, and then we started trading some IBIT here off 71.7. Remember that was kind of that bottom there that we held? Then we broke again. So we hit a top of 73, and then about an hour later, we touched down to 71, broke that, went to 70.80. Then look at this move. This move was ridiculous. Bitcoin goes down to 68,000 from 73. There's 5,000 off your price of Bitcoin in just a matter of, I guess, 4 or 5 hours. I guess it was a decent amount of time, but nice move to the downside and then brought right back up and now trying to hold 70 again. So, when we kind of look at things, I kind of say, you get this garbage out of here. Well, if we can hold 70,000, then hopefully we don't see these lows again. So came back in, tried to break, then went back to the upside. So I feel like 70 could be something right here. But yeah, that was a trip, man. We had a trip down memory lane there with IBIT. We were in the money, out of the money. We will wind up red on it, but we hit a great short here. I don't know what this price was on Bitcoin. I think it was around, right here, 71,000. And then when it dropped into 68, we didn't have anything left. So I got out at that past bottom. That was 70. Boom. So anyways, there it goes. Oh, and then I tried to short again that same level and got out. That was a quick hit. But anyways, it was a fun time on IBIT right there. There it is, IG. Grab that. I saw that red come up. I was like, oh my God, am I short something? Because the market's
really
down.
like it really pops when you do that. Speaking of pops, Intel broke 45.04, which was a flat top in there that I was shorting into. And once it's broken, I'm out. Tesla is within now 30 cents of that high break. So if I'm going to add along to, maybe you could dip back into 77s. That could always happen too. But if I'm going to add along to Apple, it's either breakout here or dip into 77. Looks a little bit juicy. What else do we have that could be a long trade? I mean, I'm just looking. I mean, Microsoft was pretty strong. Looking over on AMD too.
You liked Tesla before?
I know, but Tesla hasn't broken out. Like I like the. It's within. It's now within 25 cents of breaking out that top. Microsoft. It's at the high right now, 415. I don't want to pay that one. I just feel like Tesla has some room to go. But Microsoft is more or less right out in front of this March high. So 416 and change is the March high. So going long up top here is long into overhead resistance, which is, I'm not a huge fan of that on Microsoft. So Tesla, which I think has room to run if it breaks that top, at least to get to 180. Like you got another buck to 180. Looks like it's about to go any second now. Faraz just mentioning Palantir. Is Palantir going? I'll have a look at Palantir. I haven't really looked at this one today.
Palantir, baby.
Well, that's maybe not a breakout trade unless you are breaking out the low of the day. Palantir, well, actually, you might be because look at the morning bottom was 24.55, and this resistance is 24.55 as well. So that actually is maybe setting up for a range break. If the market's going to go break here to get to VWAP is 25 pennies. Back to Brendo.
ByteDance, guys, TikTok owner, saying they plan a legal fight, a full legal fight, if the divestment bill becomes law. So again, from ByteDance, TikTok plans a full legal fight if the U.S. divestment bill becomes law. So there was some volume there on Snapchat, but not much movement.
Broke. Let's see. Tesla broke.
Nvidia went right back to 905 and went right back to the highs again. We could have taken another $2 there, but I still waiting for more on this. So if you guys want it, look, I don't know why everybody in the U.S. cares that much. I said this in the midday show. There's nothing's going to happen to TikTok. It's just the ownership of it is going to change. Right now, the Chinese government is feeding whatever algorithms are hitting TikTok. So I guess that could change. You might get similar algorithms to, I don't know, those of Meta or whoever.
Who knows?
Or, again, if the ownership changes, I think that's fine, as long as they have control over that. That's what they're looking for. So I feel like there's going to be some kind of data control there.
Everyone just wants to pick up who's going to win.
Yeah, I don't think anything's really going to happen. I just think that what's eventually going to happen, and by the way, Nvidia's pulling back down, is that they're just going to want to control the location and have control over the data and be able to subpoena if there's any problems, things like that. Now, I don't know if that exists currently, but it's not really super crazy tail or headwinds that I've been able to see for Meta. I mean, Meta's up today, but the market's really blasting. So, I mean, that doesn't surprise me. Google today as well. Google's done well, obviously, but it got hit and it just went down to the 200 period and bounced.
Oh, yeah, baby.
As well, which was really nice down there at 130. Thankfully, it bounced off that if and when my chart. No, the problem is like, there it is. So there's the 200 period there. And then I feel like the biggest beneficiary would probably be Snapchat. And this stock is kind of like down today. So, I don't know.
Well, go figure.
I don't know. There it is. So there's the $11 bottom on Snapchat.
That's not a bad local break.
Why
That's a post-earnings top break.
Why doesn't Snapchat just buy that arm of TikTok?
Well, it's a perfect.
Then they could.
If you're looking at if they're going to allow some kind of a deal for the U.S. part, it would, to me, it's more likely that it would be someone like Snap than letting one of the big boys do it. Like that's just the way the government works. But you pull up a Snapchat chart. It's not that bad. Okay, so flush off of earnings, make a bottom. This is a 200 period it's holding right now at 1180. Like 1180 right now, 200 period moving average, and it's trying to break this back out. This is a dip back in. The low is 10 cents underneath that. Snapchat holds on to 1170 today or 1180 and breaks out the top tomorrow. That's not a bad play, at least to look at. Tesla did break that high. It went if you took evens, then it went 40 cents. But the high was like 179 change. that was actually 179.10 to be precise. So I'm long at 11s when it broke that high. So it's now gone about 30 cents, and it's like very slowly grinding higher with the rest of the market. So Apple long, Tesla long, both working. RIVN long against me right now. That could stop out above that 40 level. If that happens, I will be only long, which is fitting. The market's at the highs of the day.
So we just got the trade that we probably should have had in the first place, like dip buys into the 50 period. So we just right now, we have $2 in the money on that reload. I'm not taking it, but I'm just letting you guys know, we just got filled down there at 902. So it just busted through 904. So that's $2 if you want it right now. I'm gonna wait up here at 905, 906. So see, now it comes right back in again. So like, you know, trying to wait to see if Nvidia wants to go, but you know what, guys? I'm guessing it doesn't at this point. So looks like 900 probably incoming here sooner rather than later, which is why I'm trying to get some more pieces out. Maybe 905. I'm still waiting for 906. I just feel like one more bump up maybe, but the market's still right here. It's just more nerve-wracking because it's moving dollars, not pennies. So we'll have to wait for Nvidia here, and here it comes right back in again. So yeah, fail top again right there at 904. So we just took a long last time it was down here. So here it comes right back in again. We're not even really out of the money on this trade. It's just, it's pretty stressful watching this name go. So we'll wait for 900 to break and kind of just sit here and see if that happens. We have the traded plan. We have the risk associated with it. And for me, we're fine. But we do need to wait for something better to happen here on Nvidia. It's just kind of in the middle here. I don't like how it's lower than higher as the market continues to go higher here right now.
Comes the highs on the NASDAQ.
Yeah, so I feel like if you were long anything else, maybe it would be working.
Oh, the ES broke the high already.
Like, look at Apple. I mean, look where we were long Apple, 171. It's 174. You know, we got out here at the 200 period, 172.73. So we take $1.70 there, but it's just continuing higher. And we wrote down Apple that we like that for the long. So
Where's the good one?
let's just see if Nvidia wants to work from here. Yeah, the market's huge.
You know what? It's because in the Stream Deck, we used to have like really cool pictures of the graphic that you hit, and now all of them are just like words.
Right.
So I have to like, go in there like looking for the right one as opposed to just looking at the picture of the graphic I want. Apple is great, but it's not breaking 174. So without the break of 174, I'm getting out if it can't hold on to 173.80. I have now trailed it on Apple. Just checking back in on Tesla as well, because Tesla's starting to come back in. Yeah, there goes Apple. So it does not hold on to the one. It goes to 174 and tries to get to the pre-market high. Actually, let's call this the CPI high. The CPI high was 174.20. But Apple, good longs today. You just had to be a little bit patient with it. I still think worth buying the dip down into 73. I'll look to do that. I think the buying the dip into 73 will make sense. If we get back down in there, forget about VWAP. Just look where we got in before. Tesla, just as we were in the register there, Tesla comes right back into 179. So breaks, goes 40 cents, right back into 179 there for Tesla. Not a heck of a lot. But what is that AMD doing? Because we were looking for an opportunity to maybe short that off 02s. It's not really tight to that top. Let's be patient with it. I don't love shorting it this far away from the resistance level on that. Boeing, we like VWAP. For Boeing, just checking in on some names that I know we wanted to trade. Nowhere near that level to try to grab some shorts. Oh, I'm the toughest. Good shout out. Rumble, remember Rumble?
Yes, we talked about that earlier, and then we left it alone.
It's through $8 now. So through $8, the fresh high of the day is $8.09, 20% to the upside. And looky on the daily chart, 850 looks like it would be a heck of a breakout. And you still got 40 cents to that level. So it's got room to run. Maybe like just a long and back into 790 could be a little something here on Rumble. I mean, that's a pretty strong looking chart.
Yeah, we like Rumble for sure. A lot of news there about TikTok and Rumble. Of course, we've talked about that. So right here, we're at the spot. We're long Nvidia 902, and we just took a piece out at 902. So here we go. $2 one way or the other is coming up for me right now. So there it is. We've got great bottoms. So hopefully we can bounce up a little bit. We are going to wait now. Actually, I'm at 903. So if we could take a piece out up here for $1, then we'll do that, and then we'll try to hold 40% or so of this name. If it can go 40%, sorry. We're only going to get out of about 15%. Okay, here it comes. Where am I, man? I'm literally at 03s here. Let me cancel. Oh, there we go. Okay, we get a piece. All right, there we go. We got exactly. I didn't have time to cancel it. Here we go, back up to the upside for Nvidia. It looks like buying the dip there was the right thing. So we'll just get out. Like, this is like pump. Like, the way this is moving right now for Nvidia seems to be a little bit nuts. All right, so 904.50 right here. Let's put an order there and see if we can get out, because that's pretty much gives us more than the one-to-one kind of that we're looking for. And then if the rest of it wants to go, then fine. Again, you could take this out. We're in the money now, $1.90 on this Nvidia trade. I'm willing to lose $1.90 on this trade. So if you're uncomfortable with what's happening right now, then please exit the trade for a pretty decent winner, because we've done the work, man. We got those 900 dip buys. If you want this out, take this out. Like, we just took it right there at 03s. So we give up 50 cents on our last out. But let's go. We're going to wait for just through 904.50, see if we can get a 904.30 fill, just before 904.50. If we can get that, then that's pretty good. I might even just move this to 904. Because that would be that 2-to-1 or so. So here it comes right back in, but watch out for Nvidia. It's moving now.
Absolutely. Rum does take rum
is nice.
Rum is always nice. I've been more bourbon lately, but yeah, rum does take out that high of the day. It was an 810 high. I'm like, okay, well, take that back into the $8 level. It's 813. Like I said in the daily chart, there's room to 850 on that move. So I'll take some out on the way to the 850. Where is that AMD if we're going to the upside?
Oh, man.
Wherefore art thou?
We're not going anywhere. Nvidia came right back in.
AMD, I just talked myself out of shorting that one.
Now I'm gonna get out again.
Okay, no, stick to the plan. Like, I'm sitting there like mad that I didn't short this away from where I wanted to get the short. No, that's not where I wanted to be short.
The market's tanking.
The market's starting to come back in here. That's an opportune time to have gotten into Rumble, but Rumble's flat on the trade. It's Tesla that I probably have to worry about if it can't hold on to 179. The ES just did this, wick the top and come back in at the moment that I don't have any shorts on, and the NASDAQ also wicking the top as well. I don't have to show you that chart. I mean, both look the same thing. They both wicked the top and then came back in there. AMD is the one that I would have wanted short, and we didn't get it. And oddly enough, like Rivian, kind of missing some data there, but Rivian just took out that 12.4 level as well. So I just got out of Rivian short.
Oh no, you got out of Rivian short. I'm going to lose on Nvidia long.
Yeah, it's a good break. It's a good level that it broke out of.
All right, 901.80. All right, so I mean, I don't know if you guys are riding or not, but this is going to break Nvidia. I just put an offer up near 902 in case we get like a little bit of a blast right now, but it's coming down. Look at the futures. The futures are heading to the south side. I mean, here we go. You could get out right now for 50 cent hit on Nvidia. That's not horrible right now. Almost for flat on Nvidia right now. I was debating doing that. There it goes. All right,
yeah,
so it doesn't look like we got much of slippage at all there, although we did 899.50 for somehow right there. Like, how did I even get that low? But that's okay, as it goes right 899.50. Okay, but anyways, there goes Nvidia making that move down. That was like a really bad out, but that's okay. Here it is. So there it is. So we'll slap a fail. But we talked about that. You know, we wanted to get long a name. The futures really just cracked there. Pretty strong Nvidia all day, obviously up 6% at one point there. That sucks. There it goes. See, right back up. So
still, I mean, it's up 5%. It's still technically strong. But just as reference, I did get out of Tesla as it came back underneath, failing that 179 with that wick top. When that happens to me, I mean, you go 2 cents above the stop and then come right back in. I'll just jump back in and risk another 3 or 4 pennies on Rivian at that same level. And if we do flush from here at these tops, I think this can be a good one back down into the 20s. Palantir ends up breaking out. Shout out to, who was it in the chat? What was like Palantir? Scratch Life is in there. I don't know if that's who originally brought it to us, but shout out to that breakout on Palantir. Could be getting to VWAP itself. Rumble, I'm gonna get back to $8. And if we're under $900, I gotta find a way back into AMD. Is really starting to get away here. Yeah, you don't want to short it down here after the move. That's what they call FOMO. So you don't want to get that FOMO and then short it at the bottom. Watch it come back up to the top and then worry about a better entry. Could be a nice chance to get that 73 back in on Apple. So, but the thing that worked out the best was trailing Apple off of the high. You know, should have scalped the whole thing on Tesla for a $0.50, didn't. But if we can get 173 back again on Apple, that'll look pretty good. Buy the dip on that. Apple's strong. Maybe Google's giving you an opportunity here. Let's just double check that. Close to VWAP. VWAP looks pretty good on Alphabet here, 138.5. I like Apple's strength more, but if you're looking at Alphabet, that's not bad either at VWAP.
Okay. Of course, NVIDIA hits, breaks 900. We get out, and now it's at 903. We're still long, but that wasn't good. If it just breaks 903, we're back, but not good. Oh, Pfizer. Oh, what I want to look at quickly was, we'll look at NVIDIA in a minute. I wanted to look at Rumble because, again, there it is. That's embarrassing about NVIDIA because it's right back, and we're in it again. Sucks that we got sort of stopped out there. All right, but we're back in, and we made back half of what we lost so far. Let's see if it goes higher. RUM, so I just wanted to look at what the short flow was. So 22%. So that's going to add something to this, right? 77 million float is, I guess it's pretty good, but if you take that math, right, there's a whole bunch of shares short on this name, not expecting them. And I'm guessing that there's going to be nothing behind Rumble and some sort of consortium that's going to try to take over TikTok. But I mean, good move by them, and I think that they should try. You know, gets their name in the media, and I like it, man. It's a Canadian company, and here it is on the daily. It looks like it could possibly squeeze higher. I mean, we've already been higher. You know, we were just at $3. You know, nice move. This is what I'm talking about. So I don't think it has it has meme feels to it because of the reasons. You know, it's like there's reasons there. There's reasons for everybody to get excited. There's reasons for the short to get worried. But at the end of the day, is retail actually going to make any money on this? Well, you only make money when you sell. So let's see if Rumble will continue to go higher. And I would always say use like the 200 period or like a VWAP to get out if anything drastically starts to happen. So that would be 750. So if you're in that, there's 750. And here we go, guys. Wow. Like, this would have been a day changer if we still had the same shares, but we don't. So we'll go back here and see if we can get a piece out right now at 904.55 is what we're waiting at right now. I don't know why we just put it there, but here it comes to the upside. Nice bounce, NVIDIA, nice bounce all the way back up there. So, rats. Hopefully we get higher there. But if we just get filled at 904.50, then we're flat on the trade, but still, that's too bad that broke, but you got to have outs, man. We talk about that all the time, being risk managers, and that broke there. It could have kept going. So it didn't. Oh gosh. All right. Maybe I'm just going to get a piece out here because if I miss this top, I'll be upset. So let's wait to see here what's happening with NVIDIA. Good move back. There it is. We'll just punch out and take 30s. Good trade back inside, but not a good out getting out at 900.
Bitcoin's still going. Mara's actually back above $20.
Okay.
It's starting to get a little bit frothy. It's not really frothy. Starting to get spicy up there on IBIT, but also Mara here back through 20 even. This could be like a local high break. If it gets to 21, I like the short at 21. I'm just going to leave it at that. If we see a squeeze move up to 21 on Mara where it was at the high of the day, I'm going to go back into that. Apple, we missed the dip buy because it got to 40s. I was sitting at 10s, actually technically 12s. Just going to cancel that order. Might not be able to get it. Look at how quickly Apple runs. You can try the dip. I tried the dip buy, but I thought it was carrying a little bit further than that. Now it looks like we're going to take out the tops again. Tesla is still right at 179. Oh no, the wicks are back. Still at that 179 level. Maybe you could get some follow through on that one. If it can hold a bid, I still like it. Apple, I do like more, no question about it. It's about where can I work into Apple that isn't at the high of the day breaking a 174 level. I just don't want to be taking a top end break. So a higher low, maybe at a 173.5 off of this local bottom here. That would make some sense. AMD's at 200 again. Way too, can't be patient apparently. Like you just said that Nvidia was bouncing, so I'm like, okay.
At 905.
So in my mind, I'm thinking that I'm gonna get a shot at AMD up here in the 201.5 range into 202, and instead AMD breaks down. Like, go figure. Thanks AMD. chase the move when Nvidia is going up and you actually win short? Logic. Let's go to the desk and take care of some business.
Brought to you by IG. Get as much as 50-to-1 leverage when trading Forex at IG. Currencies like Euro and USD require as little as 2% margin rates and offers $0 commission trading using a Forex account at IG. For a limited time, traders can open, fund, and trade with IG for up to $10,000 in funding bonuses. Terms and conditions apply.
Yeah, go check
That
out
they
IG.
do.
Go check out IG. Right there, maybe say hi to Frank. All right, Pfizer, 23 cents at the high of the day, or at least the high of this move. Yeah, so far so good here. Pfizer still working off. I mean, this is why we look at the 50-period moving average, you know. It's like when something starts to trend. And again, this was just on something I heard through Benzinga. It was just Pfizer taking out this with a big volume, a spike there on a volume scanner. So nice move to the upside. Actually, I think this was a volume scanner, actually. Pfizer just out of nowhere with this big spike. So I told you about going over to that. All right. Nvidia can honestly, where's the gates of hell? There's going to be a green name for me, and those don't exist too much today. So I'm going to be happy with Nvidia, and maybe I should take back that gates of hell. But like, it just, if this doesn't happen right there where this wick breaks, here, let me show you, zoom in case you're looking now, right there. We got back in because we were like, okay, maybe that was the bottom. And I thought, honestly, to go long here at $900.70 against that for $1 is where we were going to punch out if it broke that wick. I thought that was well worth it. And I actually had more bids down here at 900 to get more. I've already canceled those, so we'll back off of that. But well worth it on Nvidia on a day like today. We were looking for some strength. Unfortunately, the S&P dipped it, or the NASDAQ dipped in like that, and it took Nvidia with it. So that's too bad. Look, it's a net positive name. So I'm not going to kick the can down the road with this. But that wasn't. Still don't think it was a mistake. But honestly, at the end of the day, it was, because it turned out to be the bottom of that move. And as I just look through my net, like I said, the hit sucks, but you know, now we've easily now made it all back, plus more. So far so good on that one. But honestly, now we're gonna have to see about that 910. I want to see if it can hold the rest. We've just rejected 900, so why not, man? I mean, Nvidia has 10 bucks in it, right? So if we can get to 910. That's a good out. 910, 912, the high of the day. If we can get into there, I feel like Nvidia is something that we want to look at. So 912, that might even be a good break. We probably won't get there, but that's what I'm going to hold out for. And then if we break lower, we've already got some of the money back here. We'll be happy with what we've done so far on Nvidia. Too bad we got stopped out earlier.
70,000 incoming again?
We have Brian Shannon.
72,000, I mean.
I was going to say we have Brian Shannon on tonight, and I'm just going to make sure that he's cool with it. But I was thinking a Q&A and then talk about Bitcoin too. So we'll find out about Bitcoin. But yeah, go ahead.
Another leg up here. I'm going to show IBIT because, I mean, when you have the ETF, like the quotes have been good, the liquidity is good. You can see the levels very clean here. A flat top breakout here. I had 2 trades on this, like breaking through the bottom, 70,000, and breaking out the top. But I mean, you got to get out when a breakout goes against me. I just got to get out. Like take profit and get out. Like take profit and then get out when it goes against. But I like this break. So forget about the fact that it's VWAP as well, but back into 40.70 on some kind of a pullback. If you're watching spot prices, I mean, you kind of got to do the math yourself. I don't want to do like the conversion or the math or anything like that because I just want to be able to trade off the chart. But when I see this, wipe out lows, stair step to the upside, hold VWAP and break out a channel, I want to go long back into that support. So that's what I want to do on IBIT. The advantage for us at Real Trading is, well, I mean anybody trading the ETF, is if you're accustomed to stock trading, then you're trading the ETF like it's a stock, which is a little different when I was pulling up those quotes of BTC, which we do have, and I can go long on BTC. Like if I really wanted to, I could just pull this up, it'll load in a second, and then take this long. I don't know why, they'll probably fill that in a second. I could take that long if I really wanted to, but I just prefer doing it in IBIT if we can get that chance. Equity traders like to trade ETFs in lieu of the futures. So I'm going to buy this little dip in here, grab some at 77, see where it can go. RIVN, remember we stopped out of RIVN. It wicked me out, so that's me making the top wick, and I just jumped right back in. It then held the same high. Once it hits 30s, I'm going to get some out and then work back to the lows. IBAT was a new long, and Apple right back up at 174. You think Apple's a strong stock today? What do you guys think? Yeah, it looks like a strong stock today. We got to be buying dips in this one. I got to be buying dips in this one. Missed a chance at 173.40, and really, hindsight's going to be 20/20. But there were good reasons not to wait for 173. You had this top that pulled us back into 73. It also, that was the high at 9:30. Like it opened and then failed right above 173.40. So that resistance turning into support should mean I'm buying this thing back into that level. Come on, Apple, give us an opportunity. With this market wanting to take highs, I know this is a name we want long. Now, obviously, I went into IBIT here, but that doesn't necessarily, the market could continue to go higher and IBIT goes higher. The market could flush from here and Bitcoin could still go higher as well. I don't think that's a direct correlation. I think you have a little bit more of a technical, maybe some shorts are getting rinsed continuously here. And if this gets back above 41, I think the shorts are in even more trouble. Speaking of which, I'm just going to get an offer out in front of 41. So we got the IBIT long looking for more Apple. Rumble is doing absolutely nothing at this high of the day. So he took that high of the day break, not breaking 8 underneath, not making a new high, not much to do except hold Rumble. Up that 21% with a 22% short float, I believe Sean said. And then you've got this local high up here in the daily, which it has room to. You got 830 over here, you got 850 over there. So I'm getting some out in front of this level, and if it breaks out, I want to hold 2 said at 850. See what happens. We got our trades on. I did want to look at Tesla again, but that's not really setting up. And then the only short and chip names that I will take would be AMD off this 202. So it's coming right back up. AMD bounces off of 200, getting right into that 202. So I think we got to be patient with that there. What I like about, I'm loving what I see in the chat, everybody. And 4L Taz was like, yeah, I didn't have a read today. I think that sometimes that's how it is. And Jeppy saying Grayscale transferred 7,100 BTC worth 500 million to Coinbase. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of that happening. I don't know how big that news is going to be, but we're in IBIT right now. Let's see if it can hold on to VWAP. Rivian's starting to go down. It's a couple cents away from my first bid. We'll take it, but the market's at the high of the day. Generally speaking, like if we're at the highs, this is that time period. Frank or no, 2:45 to 3 o'clock did give you a bump to the upside, and we are right here trying to break out this high in the NASDAQ. If that goes, I think Bitcoin should be good. Rumble, we'll see. But I would suspect Apple's going to take that 74 as well.
All right. I just want to say if Bears versus Bulls is in the chat, what's up to Bears versus Bulls? We are going to be taking questions, and I just got the confirmation from Brian, so thank you so much, Brian. He's down. So tonight on the recap show, it's going to be me and Brian, because you know what we have tonight? We have the biggest and the baddest IPO of them all. Clover reports tonight. It's a very, very impressive 70 cents. So shout out to Chamath.
Dollar break?
Maybe, yeah, maybe. We'll see. But there, Brian Shannon going to come on tonight, almost 300,000 followers. He has this great book, which is at the desk now. It's not over here. And so come and find him anchored VWAP. So VWAP stuff, technical analysis, anything like that. So Bears versus Bulls, if you guys have any questions there in the chat, please mark them down if you can and then fire them off to me, and we will do them in the market recap show. So again, thank you so much, Mr. Bears versus Bulls, for that one. So stay tuned for that one. We'll take some questions. Just message them to me and we'll get going on that. All right. So we haven't done anything since we had last seen everybody. So we're still waiting for that NVIDIA to go to the high side now. So we'll have to wait for that one. Again, we still are waiting for that. I feel like a 912 would be pretty sweet if that comes up. Let's see if it does happen now. I'm going to put an offer actually at 911.50. You know, sometimes wishful thinking. I don't think that's going to fill, but and if it does break back down below, we'll try that one more time. So that's what we're doing right now, back down to the downside. Uber, I'm getting a note. It's making a move back up to VWAP again, so maybe there could be something here. Uber, so yeah, there it is. So coming up to 78. This is actually looking pretty good here, back up to 78. For Uber, could be a good, decent little short there. Again, red against the market today, as the NASDAQ's only up is up 1.3 when Uber's only up 0.5. So I feel like VWAP, that's not a bad trade right now. If you want to take a little bit of risk, I mean, you could get back into the low of the day if the market fails now. And if the market goes to the high side, then you have VWAP that you can attend, which is only a little bit. So I actually don't mind this trade for Uber. Let's try it. Let's try a short into 78. So let's put an offer here at 90, and then we'll wait to see about getting that 78 fill there on Uber. So here it comes, coming into 90 now, and we'll wait for something else upside in and around that $78 level. And if that breaks, then we can get out and be fine with that. So there's 78 right there on Uber. I actually don't mind this trade if the market's going to pull back a bit. We already have our hero long. So if the market takes off, this will hopefully do the work for us. So let's wait to see what happens with NVIDIA and go to the desk with Adara.
Allbirds, BIRD, continuing to make moves to the upside here. This name is below $1. It does report tonight, so there could be some extra volatility associated with that. Also worth noting, 5% short float here for BIRD, guys.
The bird is the word. I actually checked up Clover. Clover's short float is only 8%. That is very disappointing. I just assumed that Clover Health would have been like 20-something% short, but I guess once you go underneath $1, the shorts just start taking profits, and it doesn't go any further. But Allbirds, that's $1 potential break. Its short float only 8%. The volume is only 1.3 million, so it's a bit of a disappointment if it's not a little bit bigger than that. But the spreads over a full cent on a penny stock, that's not what I like to see. Rumble doesn't hold the $8 level, so we went for the break. Doesn't hold 8 even. Maybe it'll give you some stair-step action, or maybe we're just waiting for tomorrow on this thing. Might just have to wait for tomorrow. For some continuation, because I don't want to be buying tops. If they're now past 3 o'clock, so buying the tops not my cup of tea. AMD still won't get to 202. So you might have to look for shorts underneath that, like the last ones we had were off of 201.5. I might go back to that, because I look over, I see Nvidia. No, Nvidia's still over 900, but Nvidia is near that 905, and despite that, AMD suddenly is looking a little bit heavier to the downside than Nvidia. So I didn't want to chase this one down, but now it's making a lower high for us to play off of.
All right. I was just talking with Michael Noss, and again, for trade ideas, there it is right there on the screen. He was showing me how to set things up, like right here. How to set up things for the market, for the market recap shows we can have this nice information up at the top there. So we're going to get that. We realized I didn't have the right version. We saw him yesterday live on the show. So thank you to Michael for that. His swing trade, though, and I should maybe ask him about this right now, was Roblox, a nice downside move, but we already had that bounce off 40. We should have, in our own account, probably thought about getting some long right there. All right. Well, we took out 10% for 10 cents. So right there, we got an 89. Did we get out 81? Sorry, 8 cents there on Uber. It's not a huge position. Obviously, we're waiting for more to get near VWAP. But if it continues to fall down, good on ya. But not good on ya is Nvidia, because it's coming back in as well. And we're waiting for that 900 break to come in one more time as it pulls back into the 200 period. So let's try to get a little bit more here. There it is. So we'll take that fill down at near 902. And then if we break that 898 level or 899 level, then we'll get out. So, there we go. We just got an 02 fill. It just went up again, up to 0375.
How did I forget MRVL?
That's been a...
Market's at the high. What chip stock is at the low of the day? MRVL.
We've talked about how bad that stock has been.
I shouldn't have forgot about this. I'm looking at AMD. Look at MRVL on the daily chart. 4 days in a row, getting absolutely smoked. Down 1% today, but the market's up 1.2%. This is down 1.3%. Why did I forget about this? I stopped it out in front of VWAP and didn't go back over to it. Sometimes it's just better to short a weak stock. And don't at me about Boeing. We wanted Boeing back into VWAP. Boeing's also at the low of the day. You should not be surprised about that one. We've been sort of dogging Boeing pretty much all day long, but the next available pop, I'm going short in MRVL. IBIT, just to quickly follow up on it, it just bounced off of VWAP. So I got the higher low, still needed to break out 4080s and then get into that 41 level if it's going to go even further. But I like the reversal that Bitcoin put in. But yeah, MRVL's super weak. And Boeing is, like I said, like what stocks are at the lowest of the day? Those are your really weak names.
Yeah, it might not look that happy, but we'll just take $2 there again on Nvidia. Like, look at this pushback. Right into, we got 902, we just got out 904. Like, as if it's candy. Like, this is, we're up, now we're playing with house money. Even now, if it breaks lower, we good. Like, it's good now, so we're pretty happy with this. Let's see how far NVIDIA can go. Now target 911.50. Get that Porsche ready to go on this 911 Turbo, because that's what we're gonna try to get to right now, on the high of the day being 912. So we'll see if it gets going right now. It's these reloads, man. I mean, they've worked. So there it goes back up to the upside. And again, just to talk about it, you can't be afraid to sit there and take a trade. Like, I know I just use less shares. Like, when I look at a stock, now if this gets to $1,000 and the spread becomes too big, which it's already kind of too big right now, you know, because honestly, when you're taking shares, 20 cents, 30 cents really matters. And sometimes you're sitting there and you'll miss that trade. And then when you're charting it, you're like, oh, it's going to get out right there. But then it comes up there and it doesn't actually fill you, because it just gets to that level, but it doesn't print through it. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit of a new learning curve there. Like, I had to get out about 15 cents or so earlier. Like, where did I get out there? 95s or so, 96s. So it was bouncing around 904, and it wasn't filling. It wasn't filling, and then eventually crossed down and grab a 96. I'm almost thinking if that's the better strategy rather than sitting around, just let it go up. And then when you start to see a little bit of fade, you know, but then again, you have to be on the stock. This is the problem. When you start to see some resistance there, then you can maybe punch out by using a dark key or something. But we just went long there at 902. It's at 905. So that's a $1, a $2, a $3 winner right there on NVIDIA. So yeah, it's been a pretty disastrous day today, but we'll go Uber, Roblox, Pfizer, NVIDIA. All these last couple names have been pretty good. Uber's coming back up to the upside now. We are getting ready to get shorter. How high did that go up? 95? I'm at 96. So, you know, again, right there, it goes to 95. It actually looks like it might have even gone to 96, but again, sometimes it's about what gateway you're on, and I'm on one that I get paid for.
It could also just be it could have been a dark pool wick.
And that's the other thing too, right? So that's,
you don't know.
Actually goes back to my other point, exactly what Neil said. Sometimes you're looking at these, and that doesn't, just because there's a wick right there from the past, doesn't mean that it actually filled anybody significantly. You could have got one share, a dark pool half print, something like that. So anyways, so you'll see in a minute, we're there at 96 because we're going to get filled. And then a break too much higher than 78, and we'll be out of this one. It's more about this NVIDIA. I might not even I'm going to cancel the 96 now, actually. If Uber continues to go up, it means the market's going to blast, which is what I actually want for NVIDIA. So I'm not going to throw away more money on Uber. I'll just take a little bit more up here. Probably 96, I'll put it back at 96. But then if we break 78, we're gone. I was gonna put a bigger position on, but let's just hold off on that and hope that the long can work. I mean, I feel better about the long now anyways.
So I'm into AMD. It'll be one entry with the lower high stop, which is right in here. If we can come to the chart, it's RAM. Yeah, it's RAM. Yeah, breaks at 40, I'm just going to jump out. The range is pretty clean down here to the half and then to the 200 even on AMD. So we said we wait for it. MRVL never came in. Oh, just an update. IBIT did bounce off VWAP, got back to the local high, and is now making an attempt to break out this next top. So Bitcoin making some moves back to the upside. I don't think you get back to that, the monster high, but 41.20 or so would be reasonable. Let's go to the desk with Adair.
Sorry about that. The stock isn't reacting too much here, but do keep an eye here on IBM. According to CNBC, they're going to be cutting some jobs in marketing and communications. So keep an eye on IBM here, guys.
You know what?
It almost tagged 200 today.
I think it's going to on that kind of news.
No, the 52-week high is 99s. This is actually 99 is the 50. The new one today is actually the 52-week high, fresh one for IBM.
High.
So a strong name, rocket ship, but not much of a day trading stock.
No, NVIDIA's starting to go to the upside. I just want to bring this to everyone's attention as well. I tweeted this out yesterday. So, I got out of all of my GE. I actually realized I won't tell you how much I had, but it wasn't as much, as I would have liked to have when I look at something like this. But again, GE, nice move. I got out of it all yesterday. Just a great move to the upside. Let's just wait to see. We got a nice wick up there to 175. I was thinking a little bit bearish. in some of the industrials. Just they're ripping like crazy, and that could be a completely wrong move as well. $5 now. Here we go. Let's go. This is the face slapper right now. So Nvidia will rocket to my board up the top here for P&L. Now that's $5 in the money and starting to go again. So yeah, we are really trying to take advantage of this move upside with Nvidia. I'm really happy about this, needless to say. So Nvidia starting to moon a little bit here, which is nice. You know, we've made money back. Like, I'm not sure now. Obviously, we would be up more if it didn't break and we didn't take the L, but we did buy some back. And then now it's given me sort of the fuel to be pissed off to hold this a little bit longer. So we're going to do that again, and we're averaged in a couple more times, so that's really good. And I'm just joking. I'm not going to trade this with my emotions. We've already sort of done that when we got out there. So let's just, now I'm looking at levels. And I just think, like, if the NASDAQ were up here right now, that's 909. So then, like, why not? I mean, if we break 909 and then fail up here and I don't get a fill, then we can get out on the way down. I'd hate to give this up. I'd hate to give this up. It's an $8 winner right now. Well, it would be an $8 winner. It's $6 now. But if we take 9s or 10s, that's not horrible, and maybe we should do that. So we'll think about it, but for right now, it's a pretty good trade there. So Uber comes out, and we are completely fine with that. We averaged in a little bit there at 96, but did not take anything significant there, as we did get stopped out of Uber. So let's wait to see now. I'd hate to get stopped out of that and this fades out. That'll probably be what happens. But let's just go here and watch what happens with Nvidia into the close.
Yeah, exactly. And with that, Anthony Kerr, Neil, AMD's at your 201.50 level. You don't even have to worry about it. You know exactly what I've done here. If you watch the show, your losers should be boring. One in, get out when it breaks the high. It was a great level earlier for multiple shorts, but this time you had to be in it the first time through. I took it the second time through, and I just jumped right out of it. Don't want to hold it against. Don't want to fight it in the afternoon. IBIT just popped to 90s. I still think this local top here, 41.20, is going to be resistance. As you can tell, it's been pretty big resistance all day long. So if we pump through 41, I think that's the next thing that could go. I just saw someone in the chat saying Solano.
I feel like some of these names will start to tank.
But Palantir is at almost VWAP. I almost said VWAP. It's close to VWAP up here on PLTR. That's been trend down. If that were to curl, that's not a bad zone. You know what? As strong as AMD was, MRVL, on that move in the chips just now, MRVL is 4 cents off the low of the day. This cannot go anywhere. This is unbelievable how weak this stock is, MRVL. I'm looking for a pop to short. Like, this is clearly the one. So, I mean, Rivian's not going anywhere. That's like 2 cents in the money. IBIT we got, but this should be the name, short. Like, come on. Like, it's obviously weak. I don't have to tell you. It's pretty obvious when you can just look at something at the lows, as all of its cohort are at the highs of the day. Apple, we thought we'd get a chance at a dip buy in the 40s. Instead, it's just cresting at this top. It might just be a 174 breakout after all. Still some time for that to work, but the closer you get to the end of the day, the less chance that I would ever take a clean breakout at any kind of a high. It just, there has to be time for it to go, right?
Yeah, and I don't know. It's only 3:13 right now as we enter into power hour. And we just sit here and really just watch Nvidia kind of fade off of that 908 again. See, like we talked about that being the possible high, but we'll look at something else for right now. Because the more I look at it, the more I'm going to decide something, and I don't want to do that. Palantir pretty strong. We talked about 2380, I believe, earlier today. It never got into those levels. This is a little bit lower than we would have thought Palantir would have fallen today. But remember what we said earlier? I actually gave this exact example about Palantir and Tesla earlier, where it does these crazy moves. And if you remember, I actually called up this chart right here, and I explained this move right here. That happened to me, and then when it did fall back in, and look what level it actually hit. I thought this was the 2380 level, but it was 2450, 2380 is down here. So it fell into this level before, and then that's where we bottomed back on the 6th. So about a week ago, that was the bottom for Palantir, and it turns out to be looking like the bottom again. So yeah, good call by anybody that picked that out. Still don't think it's overly strong. It's down 2.5%. You're well under. This is a 20-minute chart, so you'd have to get above like 25 bucks, like I was saying, to get some of this garbage out of here. Like to see this break a little bit higher there on Palantir before we really do consider a long on that name. All right, back up to 907. We don't really want to look there too much. Snapchat, Google, I mean, for me, the missed opportunity is going to continue to be Apple because and again, it's not a missed opportunity. It's a fine name. We had the long, we lost it at 172 the first time. Then we had 171 back in and we got out right there at the top, 172.65, but
Comes 74.
just continued to go upside right now. What's happening?
174 could break.
Oh, on Apple. Yeah, we've bounced around there though. I don't know. I'm not taking that long. Are you looking at that long?
This time I am. It's the third time. If it's I would say the third time I never want to short it, but I'll give it a shot here. We said as long as there's enough time for it to go, if it backs off one more time and then suddenly this breakout occurs at like 340 or something like that, then I really wouldn't want it at that point. But I think it's still in the pocket. There's enough time for it to give you some kind of a move. I'm still on the offer of MRVL, which can't pop 15 cents to get us in. Manuel saying TSM is at VWAP. That's worth a look. I mean, Apple's right here, right now. I do have a level 2 up for it, but I think it's going to break any second now. So I'll get to TSM in a second. I think you're going to 174 is likely to break. I mean, you're at 95. Did we come all this way to not break? I say that tongue in cheek because that clearly already happened twice. So it's entirely possible it doesn't break the high here, and we just sit here staring at this level 2 for nothing to happen. Roberto, if it goes to 175, that would be just fantastic. I think all of us own it in our long-term accounts, at least potentially. I know Sharif does.
It's going to 175 regardless anyway.
Well, it's just a matter of just do it today. And if you would just short it in front of 74, there you go. Like it just pulled into 96s, and it's right back in the 80s. So I will temporarily cancel that again and wait for it to go one more time. Boeing is tapping, where the 200, it's close to, Boeing's close to VWAP here.
On the way back up?
On the way back up. So on the way back up, it's getting closer to VWAP. It's above 184, VWAP is at 185 on the 3-minute here.
All right.
Apple's gonna have to wait.
So, all right, from a $6 winner to a $4 winner is Nvidia, but that's not the story I'm trying to tell. If this goes against me, I'm just gonna get out. So remember we said we're going to play with house money, so that's what we're going to do. The trade is fine. We're going to be up on the stock, but if it breaks 902, then we're going to get out. So that's basically right here, right at the 200 period. So we rolled with it. We averaged it out. We got some good dip buy opportunities. And remember when we got stopped out here, we were only long at 901. So this breakdown is like $1.50 of a hit. It's like it's not. And then we bought it back, and then we took $3 and then $4, and then we bought it there again and took another $2. So this is what I mean. It just sucks that we didn't top out at 908 because then we could buy it back right now again. And I don't want to buy this back. Like I want to be right again to the upside because if I buy it back here and then lose, I'm giving back that $2 right there, and I'm not so comfortable with that. The 50 period hasn't really been that great, so we'll wait for it. I mean, it was great right there, but we'll wait for that one. Back in on Uber. Uber's come back down in again. We got stopped out on that move, but we did reshort it back. Now it's starting to fade again, and that's going to be hopefully a good trade for that. We did put a stop on $28 for Pfizer, and then coming out tonight. I don't even think we really have an earnings board set up, do we? We do?
Oh, we do?
Okay, then let's go. Because if we do have that, I don't really see that much tonight. QFIN, I'll just give Ramin a second to get it going. But yeah, like after $1 billion, there's nothing else. There's BLTE.
I like good BLTE.
Yeah, but that's an ADR, so that's no good. Well, it could be okay. Everything was before market today. We can look at KSS. I don't know. We can see what ONO is.
You're going to go light on the Mayo with the BLT.
Yeah, BLTE there. Oh, there they all are. Okay. So good luck knowing any of these. Oh, Funware, I guess.
I guess I
can put on Funware. The market cap must be so low that it didn't scan.
No, but it'll move. But you said Clover Health. I mean, that'll
Clover's
be
a
interesting.
Disaster, though.
But again, you just want a stock that moves. Funware, 100% with obviously presumptive nominee. I think we're saying here for sure. So Clover and Fun tomorrow morning. Williams Sonoma, because we've seen the retail names have decent volatility through earnings season. There's no question about it. And then the dollar name, Dollar Tree, you're going to get before the open. it's always more exciting when you can have something. I like earnings in the aftermarket. You get established levels. You get the earnings calls already happen, so you can read everything and look at your charts overnight and not have to worry about some silly call going on at 9 a.m. when you're prepping for the open. So I do prefer if these names, like if Dollar Tree would happen aftermarket, it would make the aftermarket show just even that much better, and then we'd have some levels to work off of. But I still think Funware could be an explosive name to trade tomorrow. Like, you don't always want to trade on earnings, but this kind of a thing, it got the reverse split. Whoops. Oh, yeah, that's right. I'll do this so you can see my multiple desktop because it's for some reason shared on every single one. This did the reverse split. And what do you do after a reverse split? It went down, it did the fake breakout, and then flushed. You are now right back at the post-split high, which is about $10. If it gives up $10, the low is $5.80. That is a big tradable range for you on Funware tomorrow if it goes to the downside. I mean, it's not as if I expect there to be fundamentally anything good about this thing. So if it does break down, I like it. Apple right back up at 90s. Okay, it's only 320. You got one more chance here, Apple. Maybe two. Let's go 174.
All right, good. Yeah, let's see if Apple can break, because that would be pretty sweet if that does happen for us. So let's go with that one and see if it's going. All right, so far so good. Pfizer, we've already talked a little bit about that. There was something else I wanted to get to. Oh, guess the market cap of Funware.
I don't know. It's okay. 50 million. I don't know.
Yes. Yeah, it's 70 million. It's like,
oh, that wasn't that bad.
Well, that's a phenomenal.
So here's the thing, though. When somebody asks you that question, I'm going to purposefully guess low, because if you
didn't think you would have guessed that low. That's a good guess.
I mean, the second you were asking me, I'm like, okay, I have to go under 100. I was like thinking about it. I probably would have normally said a couple hundred million there. But
I thought you'd have gone with like 200 million. But
yeah, I would have like 200, 250. If you didn't set it up that way, I'm just going to cut my guess in half. And then I was thinking about it, I'm like, no, it's going to be even lower if he's asking me on air. But yeah, who cares? If you can trade it, you can trade it. Reverse splits, that's my poo emoji. And Apple's not breaking 174, apparently. MRVL just kicked up a little bit, which when I say a little bit, trust me, it didn't move that much. MRVL just popped 20 cents off the bottom. That is the best move up it has had in, I don't know, like an hour. So MRVL's off the lows as the market gets back at the highs. We're into that one for the short, and Apple's at 93. So Apple has a chance here to go. We'll give MRVL back to that local top. Come on, Apple. It's not going to go. It's back at 95. If it's not going to go here, it's not going to go.
So yeah, we just tweeted this out again and retweeted it as well. Tonight, Brian Shannon will be doing some interviews with Brian. We'll talk about ARM. Oh yeah, ARM. Yeah, Funware. And we'll do a little Q&A here today as well. So join us tonight as we recap the market and have a little bit of fun with Brian. All right, so there goes Nvidia. We talked about possibly reloading that at 904. Good trade, they say. Has to go higher, I say, though. Let's see if it goes. Like, you know, it's $4 in the money. We could take this, but I still think higher, so let's hold it and see what happens into the end. Hopefully, if you guys want it, you can take that as well. Pfizer's doing its own thing. Let's go Apple, I agree. Let's see if that can get going. Why is a firm coming? Ooh. A firm is a high of daybreak note coming through on a firm right now.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, the market's...
Well, the market's at that.
Yeah, I mean, this is what the market looks like. I don't know why I'm so surprised that a firm's breaking higher.
I am.
But I kind of was too there. But there goes a firm right now breaking higher right now, coming right back into this level of $37.80, $38. Could be a possible short up here on the daily, though. You still look at 40 as a level there. So I feel like that's a little bit of a safer play on the high side for that. So we'll look to short 40s, but again, a firm against 38, not looking horrible. I'm cheering for a market to go up right now. I don't know if Nvidia needs that or not. I'm wondering about maybe not even getting out there, but maybe getting out if we break there so that we can keep a little bit. Nah, it doesn't really matter. That's only $1 difference. Okay, so we'll hold on to that one. All right, shout out to Jonathan Alberto here. Can we admit how good pineapple is on pizza?
Nope.
I like it.
Nope.
But you're not going to get Neil to admit that. So. And again, we talk about this all the time, right? It's like to each their own. So if you like pineapple on your pizza, then you would hit like,
I mean, look,
congratulations. But if you do not, then you would hit the fail.
Yeah,
You know, Adara doesn't like spicy food.
Yeah, we'll hit
You know, so it's like, if someone hits jerk chicken, we're not going to be like, oh man, fail jerk chicken because
that's
Adara
obviously-
doesn't like it.
I mean, you're Italian, Sean. We've been through
There
this
was an
before.
article, remember, about
No,
but
but-
remember, this says does not say does pineapple belong on pizza. This gentleman believes it tastes good on pizza.
Agree to disagree. And you know what?
Yeah,
And-
exactly.
yeah, I
That's-
mean, everybody do you.
It's called taste buds.
Yeah, exactly. Like you do you, whatever you happen to like. I can tell you, I just find it weird. No, there was what was the article we got sent? I forget where it was in Italy, but it was a totally
was
different
reinventing.
type. He was reinventing. I forget the type of cheese he was using. It was a very different pie that he was doing, so he could accommodate the unique
Preferences of unique
yeah.
individuals.
I'm trying to say that in a nice way. I really am.
I mean, some people like, you know, different football teams, for example.
Yeah, I mean,
regardless
that's
of if
fine.
they've ever won. You know, there's lots
No,
of things
it's-
like that. I mean, we have Sharif over here. The guy has a
I see what's up
breakdown every time we bring up the Cowboys. So, all right.
Just threw shade at the Buffalo.
Well, and the Buffalo Bills. But I like the Buffalo Bills. You know that. We used to have season tickets down there. So,
love
all
the
right.
Bills.
Here we go to the downside right now. Uber's trying to go despite the NASDAQ seeing highs. So I feel like that was a pretty good short up there. Did get blown out. We did get back into it because I wanted to have a short idea in case we were no good on that. So I don't know. Nvidia's been disappointing. It's not doing anything, so I wish it was doing more. I am debating that Affirm short. I don't think that that's that bad up here at Gates 38. It's just why I don't really want to go short with the market blasting up. Affirm's with the market, so that's a problem. And Affirm still does have like a 30%
Apple just
short.
tagged 99s. It's going to be a short again.
And Nvidia's pulling back again.
Oh my
I don't
goodness.
know what's going on.
Apple will have been a short off 99 again. Again, you just wait for the breakout. It just doesn't go. Sorry, I'm looking at IBIT, but there's the high. 99s. It actually, I think it printed some evens on like a dark pool if you were sitting there. IBIT starting to slow down. It cannot seem to get past 40.90, so I don't necessarily want to look a gift horse in the mouth here. It's getting to 330. You're getting near that end of the day. If that's resistance, then I'm just going to take it. I don't think I reload. Oops. I can cancel that, so that's not a short. It doesn't really matter, but looks better when I don't have to have it as a short sell. So I want to take the profit and run there. Apple at 99s, as we said. If it doesn't go now, it's 330. This breakout has to happen here, or it's not happening at all. Neo short, TSM flying. I'm not trading a Chinese ADR this late in the day. And just as I flip away, Apple did not break. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Apple and show you that didn't break. I got triggered into Apple, but I then looked up at the level 2 and saw it still at 99. So I in that situation, I don't care what happened. I just know that I got the long and I'm punching out. So I got triggered. It might have broken like by like 1 cent or something, and I got ones. I just punched out like right away because I looked up and it was. I never really saw the bid above even.
I think
so.
the high. Yeah, I don't think the bid did get there.
Yeah, I just
the
got-
high of the day is 174.01 on E signal. So.
Boo! Yay! Exciting.
But
The
that's-
exciting 2-cent trade to the down for
That
Apple, and it's a short again. So if you shorted Apple 174, congratulations.
Where's the bid?
I went long and lost 2 cents. So good on all of you that went short.
Yeah, Apple could be a good short here. It could be a good long. I feel like a pullback into the 50 period might be the good trade right now to go long. Apple is only, well, you know what? Actually, now that I look at this, I thought this whole time that Apple was greater than the market just because of the move here. But I forgot that it got killed early, and now it's only 0.67. So it's actually half of the market.
I could go for a slice right now. All of a sudden.
So maybe it's not the greatest here. Something. Oh, it's nothing. No, it's nothing. It was something about WWE again. Because there's TKO. So TKO. This is what it is, right? TKO. So let's see what happens here. Yes.
Oh yeah. It's
Nothing happening. Okay, Uber. Oh yeah, Tesla. Tesla's always doing something. We had that great move to the downside, and then now it's just not breaking through 180 here in the afternoon. So it did get as high as 179 and change. I always like to look, especially if you're looking to fade something, where we get back to some of these pre-market levels that faded. So Tesla, again, pretty good day for them. You know, considering what happened like here, we were like, what's wrong with Tesla? Went from 180 all the way down to 173. That 173, 172 area, I just remember it even from back into here. Like this has been a very sort of strong bid area down here into 170 for Tesla. And it just goes back into beginning, or is this mid-February? Oh gosh, there's the split adjusted. Yeah, back into mid-February, we sort of held this 174, 175 area. And then over the last week or so, we've been dancing around this area again too. So, you know, you break back down below this 168, that might be where you say, forget about it, I'm gonna regroup a little bit lower. Could be a good risk to reward here on good numbers. I don't know when the next time they're gonna talk about deliveries, but that could be something there. We know the Cybertruck's been pretty hot. We know they're working on a lower class model as well. We've talked about Optimus and all that kind of stuff, so that was fun times. But we'll wait to see what happens with Tesla. I feel that Tesla could be in a problem spot here, and this actually goes for all these major Mag 7 names that are going to be put basically in direct fire of both political parties, I feel like, as they come up, because a lot of the people don't like how much money they're making, all the protectionism, all the like privacy issues and data sharing, and just like the youth with some of these apps and what some of the content is. So Tesla doesn't have that problem, but it's just a whole problem maybe for the NASDAQ, and Tesla's not performing very well over the year and could take it on the chin the hardest.
That's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah, Tesla on the year is down, well, if you go all the way back to the beginning of the year, like 260 down to 178. So yeah, it was down like 32% or so. I don't know exactly.
Not performing well as being kind, I would say.
Yeah, down 30% against everything else.
Yeah, I mean, compared to, we were going to talk about this, you know what, I'm just going to not look, I said I wouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth, and if IBIT got back to that top, I would just take it. So this time we're going to take it. We're out. It bounced off VWAP nicely at 40.60. We were able to get some out there 88s, and we just took some out at 85. But look, Microsoft, let's compare and contrast. Microsoft has bounced in front of the 50-period moving average at 400. So the entire pullback from the high was, at worst, about 20 bucks. So 5%, what is that? Just over 5% off the highs in Microsoft. And it's continuing to go higher. And since the start of January, it's at 370. So you're up, was that 12% or 12.5%. Amazon, at the beginning of the year, this was $145. Top is at 180. Do the math yourself. Nowhere near. The 50-period on Amazon is 8% away. And, you know, like I don't have to pull up other ones unless you are Apple or Tesla, and to a certain extent Alphabet. Like, you didn't have that much of a pullback. So like some names are participating, some aren't. You can see what strength is. I think we're being kind to Tesla, but at least everything else is above its 200-period moving average, and that's a big one. I love the fact that Alphabet did that. And by the way, Alphabet within spitting distance of the 50-period. Well, we could see that at 142 this week. I think we have a decent chance of seeing that at 142 this week. Apple, as I said, it should have been a short off of 174. I'm asking myself if I shouldn't just do that next time it gets up there. We did have the 01s got out at 99. Maybe it is just a good shot for a short. Nick W saying Bird is now ripping. So Allbirds, I have a pair of Allbirds, but it won't break $1. I want that dollar. Usually I want a $1 break. That's going to have to be maybe like a tomorrow. Like look at this stock. You're trading it in like 10-cent increments. Look at the volatility or lack thereof in it. So it needs to break out that dollar. Get that into 110 maybe. Let's go back to Adara.
This part of the show brought to you by Trade Ideas. Real-time scanning and alerting used on our desk by many of our traders every day. See what's moving in the moment with Trade Ideas. Check out the link in the description for 20% off.
All right, big shout out here. Let's do a little bit of a roll call here, because why not? We're going to, oh yeah, by the way, anybody that has any questions that you want to ask Brian Shannon, put them in the chat right now, and a shout out to Bears vs. Bulls. I said, who's green today? Anthony Kerr says yes, but barely. It's been choppy. Agree with that. 4 cents green. I like that, John. Shout out to you, Chef Joe, as well. 48 bucks green today. Hey, you know, 48 bucks, not bad, not bad. Buy yourself, like, I guess you could maybe just the steak. You know, you can't get any sides with that. But what's up to Daryl? What's good, Daryl? What's up, Sebastian, Solo Cristo, Jesus Cristo? What's up to Barranquilla there, Chase Bands, Bora's there, Llama Mama's in the building as well, Hans Beer. Hey, Intel is a turtle. Slow mover. I agree with that one, if that's what you mean. Panda Core, what's up? We ready? The Piper is in the building. What's up, Pied Piper? He's here as well. Floppy's here, Raymond, and everybody else. What's up, Mike James? It's Mike James. So, yeah, shout out to everybody and shout out to you, Bears vs. Bulls. Thanks for helping us out every day on the platform. So, there it is. Any questions there, post them, and Mr. Bears and Bulls will grab that, and we'll talk about them in the after show. So, shout out to everybody else that's in there right now. All right, again, like, man of not many words right now. It's 3:30. We still don't have those imbalances.
I think we can stick a fork in that source online. Like,
okay, so we'll find another one. If anybody has another source to get those imbalances early, I mean, we're the only source I think that you can get these imbalances early, but we don't have the number. So someone could, I guess we could just create an app that adds this up, but you know, at the end of the day, there was one that was doing it. So these are all the market on close trades that are going to hit tonight, and they get paired off. So at 350, they become public knowledge, and then we go from there. So we'll wait to see what happens with all of these, but those are the imbalances, and that locator will hit at 350, giving us hopefully some trade ideas into the close right there, and hit that scanner for 20% off of trade ideas as well.
I'm just going to ask Wayne.
It's a Ponzi.
Because there's a few coders on this floor. I don't see why that's unreasonable to try to do. We had a couple of traders that did that before. Like you're going to get that source. You could probably build a number off of it, and then it would be updating as well because you get regular updates going into 350. So we'll see. The big one, what's oddly enough, is GM to the downside of 2.6 million for an early look. You talk about stocks that have been pretty solid, but look at this. At 3:30, when was that update? The last update. Okay, looks like the last update was at 3:34. But I'm willing to bet that it probably showed at 3:30 there was an early look on the imbalance to the downside because GM actually made its biggest move of the afternoon just now.
Oh, okay.
So that could be worth watching. It'll probably pair off. GM, by the way, doing a little bit better than Ford. Just going to throw that one out there. But Apple off the 174. You know, if I go short, you know it's going to break out. It's obvious. But it's been a short off this level. Because it broke, the new high would be 01s because technically it printed some 01s up there, but could not follow through. So Apple's been a strong stock, was long it twice. The first one was 73, that's much, much better. But it's been rejecting this 174 over and over. So we'll try to risk 5 cents in the other way on Apple.
All right, I was just reading some questions. Good questions there for Mark, for Brian, but get a couple more in there if you guys have any questions. All right, heading into the close, we do have Clover, the expected move today. I mean, it's only done 15 million shares, but it is a 79-cent stock. And let me just double check. I think we discussed the shortfall was 20s or so. No, it was shorter than we thought. It was 8. So 8% short on Clover, so not much happening there. You could see what's been happening with the stock. It's just been bleeding to the downside. So maybe you get a bounce, maybe you don't. That's Clover. And then the other name that we were looking at, again, pretty penny-wise here, was Funware. Obviously, we've reverse split. We talked about that. So this name could be something that has quite the earnings day move, I would think. Both these names were in the teens for expected move. Expected, yeah. You're going to be a spectator maybe on this one. Yeah, word of the day, yeah. Unique word of the day. Made up, that's what we should have. I should have one for myself, made up word of the day. And then we could do that. But there it is right now, only 13% short. And this is the reason, 2 million short float. So 2.6 million on the short flow right there for Funware. So we'll have all of that into the close and it should be a good one, as we'll have Brian and myself going over all the levels, and we'll talk about ARM, which we could check out right now. That was a name that we sort of forgot about. ARM does, so it's too bad. It's too bad that we got sort of excited about it. Well, it's not too bad we got excited about NVIDIA. I'm glad we got out for flat here on ARM. But we were going to use 130 as a stop before, and that's what we had written down all day. That basically bounced off there perfectly and went back into 129. So you feel like that's worth $1 all day. We'll probably look at that tomorrow. I want to stick long. We just got another fill down here at 81 on Uber. So again, a 6-cent hit that way. Now we're 18 cents in the money now this way. So pretty good back in on that. And we're still waiting for NVIDIA. If NVIDIA comes a buy, then we'll probably get somewhere up where we need. But other than that, let's just hold on and wait. to see what happens now. Oh yeah, Adobe. This was a call that we had as well. It's been strong all day heading into earnings on Thursday. This was a podcast named Adobe, and we talked about that on the podcast. And the podcast, of course, was down into here, 540, 550. So far, so good there for Adobe, man. I mean, this might, if you bought Adobe at the beginning of the week, which was just yesterday, I guess 550, 560, now got a little bit of runway here back up. So we'll wait for them on Thursday. Excited for that. We'll go to Adair, and then we'll get back with Neil.
Yeah, just be aware right now, Ken Griffin of Citadel currently speaking on CNBC, so just keep an eye on that. Currently speaking about AI, from what I can see here, but also worth noting some of these names on the S&P 500 that made some outsized moves that maybe we haven't discussed as much, including IBM. This one, we did find out around 3 p.m. today. CNBC reporting that IBM is slashing some of the jobs in marketing and communications, so some layoff news coming out here for IBM. We also have ADM, that's Archer Daniels Midland. This one reported earnings. It wasn't missed across the board, but they're actually trading higher. They provided an update on this audit, ongoing audit that we had coming out in January, basically saying that they're cooperating with the investigation. Also announcing an additional $2 billion worth of this share buyback program. So buyback news and that audit cooperation bringing ADM to the upside despite an earnings miss. And last but not least here, 3M, MMM is the ticker for this one, announcing their new CEO is Bill Brown, formerly of L3Harris Technologies. So nice move here as well to the upside for MMM, guys.
Thank you very much, Adara. Shout out to you, win for the comment of the day there. Dutch trader, someone breaking through VWAP in real life. You may or may not hear some work going on. I'm not going to spoil it, even though other people were. But there's some new and exciting, maybe visual changes coming to the podcast soon. But a whopping 10 cents in the money on Apple, short at 98. Off the 174 level. So Apple doing the dance off 174 again. Up, down, round and round, but 20-cent range here on Apple. It is starting to work back in. Someone asked me like what's happening with RIVN, and it's not moving. It has gone in the money 5 cents. It's gone out of the money 5 cents. It just hasn't done anything other than that. So I think that's been a waste of time. But we're in it, so it hasn't broken the top and it hasn't hit my stop. So there's really nothing to do except sit there until we get the end of the day. The NASDAQ is still breaking higher in the ES as well. So the fact that Apple's not going means something else is, obviously. My guess is it's Microsoft, because I think the answer has been, no, Microsoft isn't through the high of the day. So the NASDAQ is through the tops. It has not, it's not Apple, it's not Softy. I mean, all I did is check the biggest two names, and neither one of them is breaking the high of the day. So we're in Apple to the short side, but if it makes a fresh high, we're jumping out of it. Shout out to everybody who was hollering about Palantir, because Palantir has broken VWAP. See? That's what the bang was. I actually thought it was work being done in the room. No, it was actually Palantir breaking through VWAP. So great breakout trade and recovery for Palantir off of that bottom. That would have been a good one. Apple's working, but I mean, it's not a huge trade because Apple's range has been very subdued near the top. You're able to get a $1 move at the beginning of the show. Now you can get 20 cents at best, as we're 7 minutes away from the imbalances coming in with a market that is just chilling out at 1.5% to the upside after we got hot inflation data. Go figure.
All right. Here we go. $7 in the money. So here we go. This is what we've been waiting for, man. We talked about the risk to reward on this. We're pretty damn happy right now for this trade, honestly. I mean, this is exactly, shout out to Chef Joe, shout out to everybody in the chat. Like, this is exactly what we're doing. This is what we're here for. Good trade there to hold that into the close. We do have it starting to accelerate back up to the upside, man. This is a good one. I might just take this out, honestly. Like, this is a big move to the upside. It's an $8 winner, so that's a good one. We'll go like this, and then we'll see what happens at 9.10 as it comes back up to the upside. So here it goes. We'll see what happens up at 9.10. Looks like it's going to go. I'm not going to panic here. We're at 9.11. If it goes up, it goes up. Let's see if it fades out after that. It just touched 9.0960. It could easily fade off of this, but you guys just saw. Forget about what's happening behind us. IRL. This is IRL trading. You saw me put all of these positions on. So here it goes right back up to the upside. Nvidia will be the #1 stock today, and you saw it. IRL. I like that word, actually, if you can tell there. So we'll see now what happens back up to the upside here for NVIDIA. I might just put an offer at 10s, man. This has been a good move. I don't feel bad about tapping out. It's 9:44 right now, so maybe we'll just get this out, cancel everything, and see what happens now upside for this name. I'd like for it to stay above 9, but I don't think it's going to get there right now and stay there unless we blast through and maybe touch that 10 again. So let's see what happens. Potentially put a trail out right now, but there's the move that we got. So I'm happy for the move, and I'm happy for everybody that's in the long as well. But again, as we always say, please trade your own, because this is now 650 in the money, and I don't want people to be like, well, you know, Sean's holding for this, so I'm going to hold for it now. Like, you guys do whatever you want. This was a gift for all of us to go long at 900, to go long there again, reloaded it back at 902. So this is a great trade, and you know, congratulations to anybody that has it, but it is up to 910 now. We did not really expect that as well. So what's up again to Solo and everybody else out there? There it is. So we'll spin that money. We are now out of that. My stop order just canceled, so boom on there. Good trade, hopefully to end the day on NVIDIA.
Yeah, it's all about making them good trades. Risk to reward is what it's all about. You get the 900 level on Nvidia. 74, we actually still pull back on Apple. I'm getting out because the market's continuing to press higher. We got 4 minutes till the imbalances come out. I just took it all out in front of 73.70. You only risk about 4 or 5 cents on that trade. So whether it hits a home run, well, that remains to be seen. Apple's still one of the strongest stocks in the market today. So I'm just not going to look that gift horse in the mouth. It's stair step up. It's higher lows. I could draw you a trend line if you wanted to. If you did, that's kind of what you'd already see off those bottoms. So it bounced right off of that 70. I can eyeball it in that situation. If I see a buyer come at 70 and I can sort of notice the obvious support, I'm going to get out of Dodge on that trade. So the gimmicky work. If you just shorted every time off of 74, you would have been laughing because it was small amount of risk. But I'll do it the last time. It's one of those days where you just simply had to control the hits, right? Like, remember, I was like, yeah, let's wait around for an AMD short. Stop it out. Don't fight it. AMD at the high of the day. So you don't have to fight stocks, man. Like, you just have the out and then move on to the next. I don't know what symbol that is. Chris, MIAQUBTE. Don't know what that is at all. But I am going to get out of, I'm going to tighten my stop on RIVN and go back over to IBIT. I think we're running out of time for that break, but just to set things up, this did a liquidity grab dump today, breaking $40. I mean, the 70,000 level got taken out, so liquidity grab underneath. Usually that's the kind of thing that gets followed by an upward move. So I would be, like, I'm leaning toward the long. It doesn't mean I 100% will just punch long at any price tomorrow in IBIT. That's not true, but I am leaning towards longs. You do a false breakdown at 70,000. I'm expecting a bit of a move the next day. You wipe some weak hands out, and the next thing that usually happens, you get a press to the upside. So that's what I will look for. And if you're kind of watching what that might be, the high of the day break failed. The new fresh high break failed. I had it, but I do like a chance for that to happen tomorrow. Look at the liquidity grab. The last time it did a monster liquidity grab, it gapped higher and didn't follow through. Ideally, you can still get that break tomorrow when we trade. The downside of the market, Bitcoin it being 24-hour market, is to trade the ETFs. At least for us, you know, we trade, our execution comes up at like 6 a.m., right? So we can't trade it overnight, unfortunately. That said, you got all day to do it. And if you're watching it and you're trading it somewhere else, obviously you have the opportunity to take a breakout, whether you're doing it through whomever. It's a 24-hour market. I do think that was a great opportunity for a reversal on Bitcoin. We'll see what happens there. Checking back in on Tesla. Hey, it's good to get out of that long Tesla 79. It never went more than 50 cents. And now you're down. If you hold on to that, you're out $1. Tesla just cannot seem to follow through either.
We had Pedro on today. Make sure you guys go over and check out all the Instagrams that are available. We put the sticky note up there every single day. We have the walk and talk. We have the recap show up here. We have our podcast. We have Linktree. Everything's going on right now. Come follow. There's a lot of imitators, but no duplicators at Trader TV Sean over there on Instagram. Go follow for that. You can message me, message people back, so on and so forth. But go over there, check it out, and then follow at Trader TV Live as well. We actually just posted this NVIDIA. So if you're not following me on X, I'm going to try to put up some of these as well. We just posted it. So thanks for all of that. And there goes NVIDIA, by the way. So we'll slap a fail on ourselves for taking $8, but there is 911.50 where our order was. So that's okay. Nice move to the upside. We would have got that. Would have we even got that, Phil? That stopped right at 911.45. Wow, that would have drove me nuts right there, but that's a good stop. Wow, okay, so now I would have really been mad. But good trade on NVIDIA, man. I just hope everybody banked on that. Like I said, we put that one in the bank for another $8 trade there for NVIDIA. Good name there. Obviously positive on it. I just mentioned that. Pfizer, we got out as that broke lower. That was good. And we'll see what happens with Roblox, as right now we're starting to, I just, congratulations to everybody that had some love there on NVIDIA. That's hard to trade. And we already talked about, Max told me he doesn't care, but Max already crushing NVIDIA today. So we'll put, join him with NVIDIA there. But here we go, 2 and 1. And there it is right now, 350 has hit. So let's see if there are any significant numbers. Adira will have this for us. We can get this number. All right, so 2.95 on GM. Let's see if that continues. Whoa, where's that red candle? Oh, my charts. All right, so nothing that significant. All right, so my bad. All right, BAC Micron was another weak chip name, but that's still at 97, so that's actually pretty good today, Micron. Yeah, up 3%. Good for them. Amazon, MRVL, we talked about that. See, it's sell, but it's not doing anything. And then Amazon with a decent sell size. That seems to be hitting Amazon there for sure at the end of the day. So, again, wow. Did we do it there? Good trade for me to end the day. Good trade on Uber as well to end the day. So a couple good ones there, as well as something else, Pfizer. That's about it. And then we went back and forth with AMD, and we don't have Apple, but we should still be long it.
Yeah, Apple was great to end the day. It gave a clean dollar move. It gave a clean pullback off of 174 with minimal amounts of risk. GM's still that sell, but I didn't really see, I mean, the market's at the high of the day. I didn't really see GM. It was already falling down, and you got a bigger move when the early look came out than you got when the actual imbalance came out. Like this sucker dropped from 35 to 20s, actually 15s. So from 35 to 15s, when the early look number came out, when the actual imbalance came out, it dropped 3 cents. So not a heck of a lot going on there. RIVN, as I said, is not really doing anything. It's been going sideways. I'm short at 38. I'm just going to get on the bid right here, right now. Oh, that's New York. There you go. There's NASDAQ. So RIVN goes sideways, never broke the high, but we'll just jump out of it flat. Apple, I did not see that on the imbalance, but maybe a 74 break tomorrow, because it sure as heck couldn't break 74 today. Apple was a good long pretty much all day, whether it was 71, 72, 72 again, then 73, all the way to 74. The only even dollar that wouldn't have worked for you is that 174. But hey, you don't have to take it, and you can always have yourself a bit of an out there, as it was a good short. I still think IBIT, and we'll talk about that one tomorrow, I think BTC could have a good run in it. Wow. And I'm not, and I know everyone was excited thinking ARM could fall like $100 million today, or like 50 bucks or whatever. But just because all heck didn't break loose on ARM doesn't mean that this is over. Just they can sell, doesn't mean it had to happen in one shot. I don't think this story is done. It's only up a couple points today. This could easily flush any day, 20, 30 bucks. You just want to be ready for it if it happens.
All right. And there it goes, man. If anyone held it, then you got another one better than me, because there it goes. Wow. Now NVIDIA is really getting excited to the upside here, up 6.5%, heading right into the close. Those are those buys, like I said. You know, you saw me take all of these trades, and we just got out there thinking. And again, I'm fine with this because of the imbalances. We talked about it. If it comes to sell side, it did come 2.9 billion to sell, but that doesn't stop NVIDIA. You know, I don't know if NVIDIA comes with a big sell or what happens at the end of the day, but no excuse for it. I'm just glad that we all talked about this long and put that in there and then hit it. So very, very good day there for the long for sure. And like I mentioned, NVIDIA, my #1 stock today. Well, let's check in on Roblox, obviously. Let's check in on Roblox. Again, pretty good outs there. Really happy with this one. Nice outs down there to $40. We'll check out what happens with Roblox. And do put any questions, and I'm going to flip over to the other desk in a couple minutes. Do put any questions in for Brian Shannon, who will be here very, very soon, coming through on the recap show. We'll do a little bit of a Q&A with Brian. That should be a lot of fun as well. So, all right, we're getting ready to go here. So we're out of everything. Uber came back out. Uber, we got out right here. Uber just popped, so I'm not even in it. But there goes Uber. We got some nice outs. Again, just off the 200 period. Good trading there for Uber, and even better trading in Nvidia. I'll just probably watch this into the close, man. 9:15. I thought we were doing good getting out at 9:09.50. That looks like we left $5 on the board. Not bad, though. Good trading today, and let's see what happens tomorrow. Tesla will soar when Ford...
Yeah, long early, long late, that thing.
Bankruptcy.
And we talked about this in the lesson of the day. Like, let those 830 numbers give you some levels to trade off of, because Nvidia really started to take it out. The 830 high was 882. It's gonzo. You are almost at the highest close on Nvidia. Where's it? It's like 920. I mean, it's right around here. It's 920 something, between 20 and 25. So you're within spitting distance now on Nvidia of an all-time high close. Now, can it get there in 5 minutes? It's possible. It's another $5, but that should be something to watch. Obviously, it gapped up and was higher, but all-time high closing price is sometimes a good indicator that a lot of people like to watch. So, I mean, Nvidia ripped some faces off today. AMD ripped some faces off today, but not all chips were the same. Remember, MRVL was weak. And another name, just because someone said it, Dell actually ended up on the lows. Not really sure why Dell was weak. And I do not want to sleep on SMCI. We talked about how strong that was. SMCI did not break the high of the day. So if you don't break highs, you can't squeeze. And that's a squeeze name for sure. 11% short interest, and it's stuck right there up at the top. So NVIDIA is the one that everybody wants. It's the chip name that people can't seem to get enough of buying those dips. The market today tells me that didn't fall. I don't think we've fallen enough necessarily to get like one of those great rallies for the broad market, but Nvidia fell more than other things. I think you need to see more of a dip in some of the stronger names. But Nvidia dropped $100, and now you're going to be right back up an all-time high close within $5.
I just saw my guy in the chat there. What's up, Brian? Shout out to Brian Shannon. Let's go bang, because he's here right now. And oh yeah, he wants to know if anybody has questions. Yeah, I have a question for you, Brian. Why in the heck did we get out at 9:10 right here on Nvidia as it just continues to go to 9? We already know the answer to that. But Nvidia still making huge moves, always up to the upside. Look at this dip buy into the 200 off of $900. Our best out is 909.50. We thought we were doing pretty good to get out of there. And again, VWAP lower, so this is not a Brian Shannon special down there, but here's the 200 period, a bunch of buys, a bunch of outs here like 904s. There's the 909. I thought we were doing pretty good. Wasn't sure if we would take out that high of 912, and when we did, we sang all the way to the upside. Good point out there by Neil that we continue to go higher, back up to the upside. Yeah, a bunch of IBIT trading today as that's down 1%. We could talk to that with Brian as well, Bitcoin. But please, get the questions ready to rock and roll. We're going to talk about Boeing. We'll talk about ARM. We'll do all of that, and we'll do the market recap show. You're now rocking with the best. So join me and Brian. There it is at the bottom. Scan that QR code. The recap show also turns into a podcast. So after the recap show, if you miss it, open up Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, whatever it's called over there. I don't know. I think it's just called podcasting or something. Open that up.
Make sure you check all. Make sure you check all the sources. Spotify had some issues with the pod on this weekend. As a matter of fact, I still couldn't find it. But you can get it on. Like you said, you can get it on Apple. You can get it anywhere. You can get a pod. Speaking of Apple, it continued to drop. It's going to hold on to 73, but that's about it. Apple continued to fall here. So it got to that 74. Hey, there's a seller at 174 on Apple. We can definitely mark that one off. 2 minutes to go here. Let's go back to the desk. We've got Adara one last time.
Yeah, we have another potential update here with regards to Boeing. BA, Reuters reporting that the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers is now convening here regarding contracts for about 32,000 members of the union who work at Boeing in the Pacific Northwest. If they don't reach an agreement, there will be a strike sanction vote as of July 17th. They're pushing for a lot of different priorities here, including increasing wages at least 40% over 3 to 4 years. So another potential update here to keep an eye on with regards to the increasingly embattled BA, guys.
Embattled is an understatement. That barely moved the needle. There's only a minute to go, so that's not really going to do too much to the stock. Down another 4 points today. Boeing has been bleeding. Boeing has been in trouble. It is flat bottom broken, and it is going to close. I mean, new lows on the year, but you are now very, very close to the October lows. That's now $7 away, $8 away from the October lows on Boeing. It's a short till it's not. If we get to those prices, I think I'm going to be looking short until we get there every single day. With 1 minute to go, not going to put anything new on, but it has been an absolute monster reversal. Remember, everything started today with a hot number on CPI. Like, it seems like forever ago, but that's how things started. And then the NASDAQ decided, nah, we're just going to rip faces off anyway. Sometimes it's a surprise that matters more than anything else. And I think we got a little bit of that today. So a bit of a surprise for the markets with only 20 seconds to go that we'd go up, and some squeezing happened and caught a lot of people off guard. And it's a big rally in about 10 seconds, just over 10 seconds. We'll get over to the bell. It's a fun one. It is going to be a wild rest of the week because I think people got shocked today, and we're in for a big rally the rest of the week if we can hold on to this. In 2 and 1, ring it, Adara. And now the market's closed. At the highs, close enough to it. NASDAQ and ES both going to close within a couple of ticks of that high. 1.4 on the NASDAQ, just over 1% on the ES. Big, strong moves. Nvidia, I didn't see the exact print, but let's just call it 19s. Somewhere in the 919 range. Didn't quite get all the way up to that close on the 7th, but 919 looks like it was that top. SMCI, I wanted to see if that broke the high of the day. SMCI never actually took out that 1165, 67 top. So it looks like they're still pretty strong. The chip names have been absolutely rocket fire the last couple of sessions, especially off of that low. You saw AMD rip some faces off. It was one of those days where if you were fighting the trend, you're just going to get hurt. And at some point, you got to have those outs. You've got to make sure that you're looking for stocks to go long in, even if you have to join that party late. Shout out to Fabian and Ramin, always on the ones and twos. Great job. And Brendan as well, although I'll tell you, Adara doing a great job in the afternoons on that desk. So watch out, Brendan. Dara also doing double duty. You've been learning about volatility in the middle of the day. Learn to trade with Sharif the professor. Thank you for that as well. So it's a great day. We're heading to hump day tomorrow. Should be wild. And hey, now you've got the market recap. And you've got quite possibly the most exciting, thrilling, and maybe the best investment in the history of the market. Earnings after market with Clover Health, which I can sincerely say has been a heaping pile of you-know-what, but we're just joking about that. Still could be a mover. And you've also got funware, so let's have some fun with the market recap at the desk with Sean.
Thank you, everybody, for joining me one more time here at the Market Recap Show. Big shout out to Brian Shannon, who's going to be joining us very, very soon as we'll go over some Q&A. Shout out to Bears vs. Bulls, who's going to be taking those down. If you do have any questions for Mr. Brian Shannon, and maybe you didn't hear in the normal show, join me right here. RIP Coinbase. I don't know what's going on with Coinbase right now. Is that going to the downside? Why did someone just say that? Oh, I typed in RIP. That's hilarious. All right, let's go over to Coinbase, see if there's anything happening. No, there is not. So we'll watch out for Coinbase today. Good day here. I lost the heat maps here, so I don't really know how to get that going again, so we'll wait for that. I'm going to take Benzinga out of my ear, but we do have this show sponsored by Benzinga Pro. So the minute funware we talked about there, we'll talk a little bit about funware and Clover. Crypto had a move today, boy. We will go over that in just a second. So the minute we see, I guess, either one of those names, shout me out in the chat, and we'll see if we can get to that in the chat, in that. ASAP. So there it is right now. Shout out to everybody who's here right now as well. Brian Shannon is the GOAT. So shout out to whoever mentioned that, Jason Walcott, here as we go. Right click on the top of the list. So show tree map. Okay, so right here, highlight here, right click at the top of the list. Show tree map. Yeah, so I don't see that here. Show tree map, show strategy menu, I see. All right, I feel like this is probably not the right version again. So, all right, thank you for that, Michael Noss. We'll deal with that after. But all right, so far today, what was moving around today? Let's go over a sector recap real quick, man. FXI today, you could see another 2.1%. Nice move to the upside. Let me just switch this over. See the daily chart. FXI starting to break higher. We've been talking about China. Good, hotter CPI print, 0.7 versus 0.3, but continues to go to the upside. And for me, we had written down on the sticky note today, Alibaba. We really like Alibaba. It's a good little level there. To the upside goes Alibaba today. And you know what? We marked down. It's up 1.62%. We marked down today that the levels that we liked for Alibaba was $75. So there's Alibaba. Dipped it down in. We didn't have any bids down there. We should have. Nice move upside for Alibaba. And again, I apologize. You're not going to be able to see this, but you know what? I mean, if you bear with me for a second, Michael did send me something here. Maybe I'll just try to download, copy, and paste this into Trade Ideas real quick. I do apologize, but this is what happens when we do this. Load from cloud right here. Copy, paste it, hit load, and see what happens right now. Nah, so still not loading. I probably have the wrong version right now, so I apologize for that one. It's okay. Should have checked it myself afterwards. That's my bad, so I apologize to everybody. Okay, is Funware out right now? Yes, no. We'll go back to a 1-minute chart here to see if Funware is trying to go. Nice little move back to 1045 here. Let me just go over some sectors because honestly, unless Funware or Clover does something, I don't know. I mean, Clover up to 82, down to 76. We're not super excited here for anything into the close. XLV today, so we're just going to look at the close into today. So the change into the close, we'll sort of sort this. And again, I do apologize. XLK today up 2.1%. Nice move. We saw all the big, hey, wait a second, where's my heat map? That's also not on here anymore. So I'm going to have to, oh man, today we are fumbling around. Brendo, could you message me? Actually, he already sent it to me before. I'm going to find this in 1 second here. I'm going to get the tree map going because this is very important. I really like to look at this here. This is from TradingView. So if you get over and look, we can see some of the more aggressive names today. So get my face off here and we'll have a look to see what's at the bottom. Oracle, nice move off earnings today, up 11%. We could definitely have a look at that. Google, Meta, all starting to go. You can see here, Nvidia, the big one, man. Congratulations to Nvidia. Up 6.25%, continues to go. Eli Lilly, another one, up 3% today as well. Good recovery for Eli Lilly as the healthcare sector upside today. Amazon and Walmart with a nice move up 1.15%. Some banks, JP Morgan, nice upside. My play, Adobe, nice upside as well. Adobe's coming out, guys, Thursday night. So look at Adobe, nice little move up. We talked about this on the podcast. Let's maybe look at a 5-minute chart for Adobe. So if you took this yesterday, we recommended this on Friday. The best you could have got was 552. Nice move all the way to the upside, 580 today for Adobe. And again, look at the daily chart for this name. Bouncing off the 200 period moving average. I really like that play. 200 period moving average for Adobe, looking pretty good right here. Trying to bounce to the high side. Look at the 50. Now don't get stuck with PAN-W. Remember we talked about PAN-W. It hit the 200 period moving average and we were like, yeah, man, what a good long that was down there. But look what happened. It bounced all the way back up to the 50 period, up at 325, and then got hit right back in. So if you treat Adobe like PAN-W, there's the hit into 550. Here's the move back. You may want to consider dumping some before earnings comes in and around that 585 area. That's Adobe. Nice move back upside. So what was red today? Well, that would be what's down here. We have tan. Really strange because yesterday we had an upside move in solar names. And today, pulling back in again. Looks like we're going to have a problem with $48 here on TAN. Nice brush to the upside, and then a fade right back down into $42 for TAN. Not a good one. UNG also trying to go lower. We had some notes there on UNG today. Let me just double check them because it was a nice move for UNG. Downside last week. EIA report lower than expected withdrawal. 40 billion cubic feet. Again, expected 72. So we get UNG on Thursday. So tomorrow being Wednesday, we'll get oil, then we'll get nat gas on Thursday. And you can see lower than expected drawdown last week. So that's not going to help, as the zooming on this doesn't seem to only want to go one way, as there it goes, go, 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 there it is. So there's the move yesterday, last Thursday. If we go over to the chart, Fabian, there it goes, thank you. Nice move down into 1530 right now. That's that low that we're trying to focus on for UNG down there at 1460, looking like a good little level. Rounding off some of the negative spots today, TAN down today 3.8%, 3.8%, yeah. UNG down, the Treasury down, TLT down 0.8. It's been doing pretty good, trying to hold out on the 200 period. I'm not into TLT, but if you are, watch out for this. Potential break level down to $92 there. XLF today holding on to green, but look at XLF. As we talked about JP Morgan and some of these bank names continuing to go higher. All right, is Funware out? Let's go find out over here. Looks like Clover is out now, so let's go over to Clover and see what that's doing. CLOV. Now, ooh, is that an upside move for Clover I'm seeing on the 5-minute chart? Okay, I see you, Clover. Let's drop it down to 1 minute and go find this out right now. You can see right now, man, we are streaming everywhere. TikTok. Are we streaming this on TikTok? Yeah. Instagram, our little portrait mode. You can go find out that. You do a dance, Fabian. We need a dance thing here. We'll just go calculation. Oh, we'll go bang as we start to figure out where we are. Soon to be on Twitch, potentially. Also Rumble. You know, Rumble's trying to get a deal with us. Right now, they're trying to work on the TikTok deal, but they're in our inbox as well. They're not, but we'll go potentially on Rumble. So it looks like Clover with a nice upside move. Let's see if we can find some numbers here for Clover. All right, so here's Clover. All right, forward insurance revenue, 1.25 to 1.3 billion. Seems to be a little higher than expected. I don't really see what they put out here today. Oh, here it is right here. Clover, fourth quarter, full year results coming out. Wow, I'm going to have to break through this. Looks like everything's green. 126 million full year, 24. Looks like a nice beat everywhere here for Clover. Only seeing green, baby. So Clover with a nice report here today to the upside. And hey, we'll take it no matter how we get it. It's Clover and it's upside right now, up 10%. Hey, you're trading penny stocks, you'll take this. Clover closes the day here, 79 up to 88. We'll take that. That's a good move upside for Clover. So again, with a short float coming through on Clover of 7.9%, we'll see if this continues a little bit higher. Let's check out Funware quickly here as well. And remember, if you do have any questions, just message me the questions. They're Bears versus Bulls. As I see we do have a couple, put them in the chat as we get ready to call on Brian. Let me know when Brian's ready, because no problem, we'll bring him on at any time. Right now as Ramin goes, not yet. Funware up to 1050, 1040, kicking out right now as well. Oracle, let's talk about yesterday's earnings, right? Oracle, a very, very nice move into the daily level here of 130. Let's break this out maybe for a weekly chart for Oracle. And we talked about this earlier. Look, it actually closes pretty good, Oracle, so we're fine with it. But if you get this kind of wick high, what I like to think could happen here, this is a weekly chart. Let's go back over to a 3-minute chart. You see what happens here at the open on Oracle? So again, a nice move. Let's zoom this back out. Oracle opens up and just rips up into that past resistance, right? Into where we were in the pre-market. I'm always saying this about earnings plays. I'm going to have Hydration Nation first of all. Wow, that was a busy day, man. I still can't believe that Nvidia trade, honestly. By the way, what red light am I looking at? This camera. All right. There's the pre-market take. So let me see if I can zoom this back out a little bit. So here's Oracle in the pre-market. Now, if you want to go long Oracle, in my opinion, you got to wait for two things. And honestly, this is not just because Brian's here, but he's taught me, and so has the book. You know, when there's a gap, so I had to think about the saying there, wait for VWAP. So I always think there's two possible trades here. Now, for some reason, VWAP's not on here right now, but here's Oracle in the pre-market. I'll talk about this play for me. I've had a problem with my layout. You guys know we normally do have that set up, but 130 as a top level right there. If we don't break the pre-market high, then I always say you want to try to fade that. So here's the 3-minute open for Oracle, comes up into 130, then hits down, and look where we bounce off of again, sort of where that pre-market bottom was. But that wasn't a pre-market bottom, that was right at 930. So when you already take that pre-market bottom, use this level, and that's right where we come into. So we talked about it on the sticky note, 124. It looks like 125 bottom for Oracle, but kind of put us to sleep a little bit during the day. Oracle not doing too much. I'm going to put on VWAP right now. So go into indicators right now. Moving average, there's VWAP. Let's just put it on. And I always say this, and again, I say this all the time on the show, and that is that when Adara was on, I said, put one thing on your chart. If you're going to use it, use the volume weighted average price. I think it gives a very, very easy indicator to work with in the beginning. Often when trading is happening above VWAP, you'll get a push back into it where you can see the action. And when we're trading underneath, often the price will float back up as big trading houses try to get closer to VWAP to close out their trade to make them look like they got a better price. We can actually ask Brian all about that for a much better explanation on trading VWAP. But that's what's happening right now. So we have Funware with a report, not doing anything. Clover with a report to the upside. And let's have a quick look at Nvidia. Let me know when Brian's ready. We can call him in. Wow, Nvidia. Mind blown right now, because now Nvidia goes up to 922. When we're talking about highs here on Nvidia, how high do we get? Because here's a daily chart. We touch 953, but we're getting close to the best close here on Nvidia. Looks like 926, 925. Great move to the upside right here for NVDA, and it's continuing. Look what I did before we call on Brian, which is going to be momentarily. I just got to say congratulations to everybody that traded NVIDIA with me, because, yeah, Brian's ready, because look at these levels that we had, 901. We got out at 910. Face palm. Is that what they talk about these days? Let's go ask Brian. Mr. Brian Shannon, how are you? Where are you right now? It feels like you're out in the middle of a dark tunnel or field or something. What's up, Mr. Brian Shannon?
I'm deep underground, Sean. I can't disclose my location.
Good, I like that. I know it's you and Zuckerberg are probably somewhere, in that bunker that he built. But what's up?
Bunker.
Thank you so much for coming through today, Brian. I really do appreciate that. I know we talk about trading intraday, but what a move we had at the end of the day there on NVIDIA. In that bunker of yours, were you able to see that move on NVIDIA? I saw you were attached to the show, but all the way up to 922. Maybe I can put you on the spot and talk about this, but what a good close to NVIDIA. How could have we seen that? Were there any squeeze indicators that maybe you saw there into the close?
I mean, it traded in a nice tight consolidation there for an hour and a half, 2 hours before it broke that little R2 of the day and took out the morning high, and it was off from there. I personally wasn't really paying attention to it. I saw you guys talking about it in the live room, but yep. wasn't my play here late in the day. Not for me.
No, that was an absolutely wild day there on NVIDIA. We had yesterday, and we had Michael Noss on, and we talked about a name that someone asked him. We had a little bit of a Q&A with him as well, just at the end there, because someone asked him what his best swing trade idea is. I actually agree with him. I really like Roblox coming through here today. So maybe I can ask you about this. We did get a fade out on Roblox right here, and I realized that I switched this. Now we have VWAP on the daily chart, but right into here, Roblox, I kind of like dip buys into 40 bucks. We basically get that today. I see these bottoms in and around 38 and change. The 200-day moving average is down here at 37. Does Roblox look good for you for a little bit of a long, or are we just bouncing around maybe too choppy?
That's a little bit neutral in here for me. Looking at this weekly chart, you can see that's the 10-week, 20-week, and 30-week or 150-day moving average. Here's the anchor from the IPO, and from the all-time high, we've got it right here. As you know, so if we actually take a look at that one from the high, if I draw it properly, you can see we've kind of been stuck underneath that. Let's just change that to pink so it stands out.
Right.
You can see we've been stuck below the anchor from the peak. We've hit it on a number of occasions right here. Again, it came close actually on this one here. And the good thing is the more times it's being tested, the more likely it is going to break higher.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of the phrase, if they don't scare you out on the way down, they'll wear you out. And right now, I don't see any reason to hurry to get into this stock. It's just kind of neutral here. So it doesn't really have my interest so much, Sean, but
Okay.
I can see why it's looking good for the longer term, but no hurry on it that I can see.
See, like right there, I just learned something else there. Like when we tank from a certain level and then they can't break it, I like that. Like, wearing you out. So that's a great little call there on Roblox again. So thank you so much for that. Feels like this has been, there's going to be a question that's going to come up here. And I've been talking about this a little bit as well. The SMH today gets another bump up because of Nvidia, up another 3%. We definitely got a big scary candle down, and I feel like the NASDAQ starting to head down on some chip worries there. But now I feel like we've just made a nice move back to the upside here, giving that 3% again, with Nvidia bouncing off some of those lows in and around 850. Now trying to go back to the high side. SMCI gets added on March. Like SMCI, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but there's an index inclusion happening for SMCI as well on March 18th, possibly sending this name to the roof. So, what do you think about possibly the SMH just holding so much power here in the broader market? If this thing can't go down, I'm not sure the NASDAQ can either. Any opinions on that?
I agree. I mean, the semiconductors lead the NASDAQ. That's that's not
Right.
really for dispute. And the way it came back today really surprised me, especially there at the end of the day. It seemed as though we were stuck below this is the blue, the month-to-date anchor, and the anchor off of the all-time high, but we managed to push above it. And the buyers came in yesterday right at the anchor from this low right here, which is where we last touched the 20-day moving average as well. So right there, that is where we see, I think right now is going to be the key level. As long as we hold up above probably 217.5, let's just call it, then I think you have to be bullish, and you can't turn bearish yet on this thing. It's just not time for that.
No, I agree. I've sort of stopped selling. I thought I was doing pretty good selling at 780, then 880, and then all of a sudden, we see that 950 level and you wonder what you're doing. So we're going to hold off on that as well. Oh, shout out to Joe Schmo in the chat saying, I have his book. Let me know, Joe Schmo, if you like it or not. I'll find a copy of it. Oh, it's over here. Let me just reach over and see if I can get this without turning anything off. Here it is right now, anchored VWAP. Maximum trading gains right there. So go grab that. Thank you, Brian, for producing this. This is, in my opinion, one of the better books, especially for beginning traders, but also for myself. Over 22 years, learned a lot from that. All right, Brian, before we go over to a Q&A, anything particular on your mind that you want to discuss, or do we want to get right into it?
I think we can get right into it, Sean. I mean, the strength of this market continues to the resilience really continues to surprise me. It seems as though, we had that hard sell-off in the semis, like you said, but no follow through to the downside. The buyers are right back. You just can't get bearish this thing until it actually rolls over. I've gotten cautious numerous times and, in my mind have thought, okay, this might be the beginning of something bigger, but then market price, prices turn right back up, and I've got to abandon any thoughts of a deeper pullback as soon as price tells me otherwise.
Brian, you're being called the Dark Knight right now in the chat. I think that's a compliment. I like
it. Yeah, sure.
A little bit of Batman action. I like that. Yeah, come over here to look at Microsoft. Talk about that. I thought that honestly, Brian, Microsoft was going to be, and Neil and I talked about this on the show. This was one of the names that I wanted to buy on dips. But guess how long that dip lasted? 2 days. We went from 413 into 400, and you're like, oh, okay, let's see if 400 holds. Well, did it hold? Yeah, it did. And now it's busting out through 415. mean, I'm not sure Microsoft goes anywhere. I like it down here in and around 365. But if you were to put some sort of an anchored VWAP, or maybe where we could find some support, is 400 a decent starting point, or maybe that's a little bit too early to buy some of these dips into 400? One last question for me about Microsoft, and then we'll go over to the audience.
Yeah, if you look at my chart here,
Sure.
first, a lot of people talk about that we bounced from the 50-day moving average. That's that blue line right there. But really what's been most important, Sean, is the green anchor from the beginning of the year. First 3 days of the year, sellers were in Microsoft a little bit. They held the anchor from this low over here, and then we bounced right at the year-to-date anchor here, and then came close to it yesterday. So that year-to-date anchor in that 400 level, and the market's been open 49 days, so you're going to see the 50-day moving average right next to that year-to-date anchor anyways.
Right.
But that's clearly the key level where if we break below that 400 and hold below it for more than a day or two, then I think you look at a deeper pullback. Until then, it's innocent until proven guilty.
Hey, why didn't I even figure it out? I was like, oh, wow, look, the anchored VWAP lines up with the 50 period. Like, okay, that makes sense. So right there, 50 days. So thank you so much for that. I agree. I'd like to buy some Microsoft down there. Okay, here we go. It's not really roll call, but we'll hit this anyways as we get ready to take questions from members of our audience. Okay, the very first question, and it's going to be about Adobe, Brian. So ADBE, shout out to Pranaya. I don't know if it's Pranaya or Pranaya, but shout out another long-term viewer of our show. So he says, can we take a look at some anchored levels? So specifically, Brian, some anchored levels here for Adobe. They do report, Brian, Adobe does come out on Thursday. This is a name that I'll give you a second to load it up, but this was a name that I was all over on the podcast. I really like their AI. I feel like, graphics, Gemini's been hit with some of the inappropriate, not inappropriate, but wrong graphics and AI generation. I still feel like Adobe has a role here, and I like Adobe for the bottom. Specifically, we bought it at 550 off the podcast on Friday, but it's a nice move now as we continue to go up to the upside 584. So first question to you about Adobe, Brian.
Right. So on the daily time frame, if you look right here, I just drew this in right now, but we had the anchor from this low back in May of last year. We touched it here, and then we pulled right back to it. And oddly enough, that was where we saw the 200-day moving average as well. But was it oddly enough? Because this line right here is where we were 200 days ago.
Okay.
So when we touched that, that was, basically from that anchor. So those lined up together again. But right now, I think there's probably a little bit of potential for some resistance up in this area, some supply to be released. This prior support, we've got a declining 20-day moving average. We are above that 20-day moving average, but we've got a declining 50-day moving average. The anchor off of this low, we're below. We can put an anchor off of this peak right here, and that's nice to see. We made it up through that one today, and the anchor from this high all kinds of comes together and says, I'd be careful around 585, 590.
Okay.
That's the potential level of supply, but if earnings do something here, then maybe we blast through that and it turns to support.
That's amazing. No matter how we get there, me and you just came up with the exact same levels. We mentioned possibly getting something out at the 50 period, running into some support. So great question there, and thank you for that. Brian Prania there in the chat. So, okay, next question. We're going to go with Stone Cold Stock Killer. You actually look a little bit like Stone Cold Steve Austin there, Brian, actually. All right, what stock, okay, and maybe this is better for me, but I'm gonna ask you, when a stock breaks a key level during the regular session, I guess, what is the best thing to watch? Level 2, time and sales, or volume? I mean, you're dealing with charts, right? So question, I guess, level 2, right over here, time and sales, or volume indicators. I'm going to throw out on a limb and just go with maybe, do you look at volume at all? Sometimes when key levels are broken to make sure that there's volume there, that would make sense.
I am aware of volume, although, a true breakout on volume is only for the daily timeframes, in my opinion. To me, it's more about what we see on the chart. I really don't pay too much attention to the level 2. My opinion there is it's generally just filled with lies. So when I look at a
Okay.
stock that's breaking support on a short-term time frame, I'm going to be looking at a 1-minute chart to really see, and then I will observe the volume and say, is it breaking down on heavy volume? Where's the next potential support level? Where is it, within multiple time frames? How big is this intraday break?
Yeah, I was just looking at that level as well and thinking the same sort of thing, that when you're looking at, for me, I agree 100%. There's so many volume breaks that are dark pools that you get like 1 million shares go off, and then you're looking in the middle of the day like, what was that? And then me and Neil go, well, just a dark pool, and then forget about it. So good comment there on the daily charts for that. So again, great question, and thank you so much, Brian, for that. I kind of knew that was going to be where we went with that. That was actually a question from when you were on around 3:30 and joined our show. So thank you for that question again. We just had one right here in the chat right now that I liked. So right here, live, Volcan. Hey, what's up? Shakatina, my brother from another mother. Hey, shut up, man. I always wanted another brother, although I have one and love him as well. What is your view, Brian? And we just talked about this on Nvidia. Do we think that this $1,000 level, and I just think that this is important because Nvidia had a nice move up there today, and we've seen Nvidia bounce off 975. For me, I'm going to say, yeah, we go to 1,000. I don't see any reason for this name to stop. The short float's not an issue for me, but what about the talk of SMCI getting added to the S&P 500? That could help boost the sector. And then what about an upgrade potentially coming from Nvidia? I have no idea. But if they can solve some of this China worries about shipping over some of those chips, I like it from sort of a macro standpoint. Maybe you can talk about the chances here going there on a technical standpoint. Nvidia to 1,000 from a question from our viewers.
I think it's a lock, basically. Okay. I mean, once you get to this level, 1,000 just seems inevitable. You could draw a giant magnet up there, and it just seems like it will head right to it, similar to SMCI. The thing about SMCI being added to the S&P 500 we have to be aware of is that it's had such a big run, and it's continuing to display that strength. But this might be a case of buy the rumor, sell the news. So I would just be very careful around that if people are expecting a giant surge. I think there's people, bigger funds who've been riding this saying, hey, here's our chance for very large liquidity to get rid of some of these shares we've been holding throughout this rally, sell when we can, not when we have to, as the index buyers come in and snap up the shares.
Brian, we're getting over time right now, and I want to thank you, but can I ask you one more question? And would it be cool if we asked about Bitcoin? Are you looking at Bitcoin these days?
Yeah, I mean, it just continues to break out, and we had a slight pause at the at the breakout last week. We pulled back a little bit, have recovered since. This might be another one, Sean, that has that round number draw to it. That maybe it's just heading for 100,000 ahead of the the halving. We've got a month until that happens, so I would say just keep ratcheting your stops up underneath it. But it sure seems like it's gravitating up towards that level.
It's unbelievable. I want to show Brian this in case he's not, he's probably seen it, but look at this weekly chart for Bitcoin here. If you can come over to my screen real quick. There's but one red week in here for Bitcoin. And then, just going back to basically the beginning of the year where we were 40,000, and then since then it's straight up and then taking out past highs. I agree with you, man. It feels like there's a magnet pulling that somewhere, and it's not lower, it's definitely higher. Brian, thank you so much for joining. Everybody can go find you at Alpha Trends. Go pick up the book as well. It's definitely a game changer for me, and I do appreciate all the time and the questions today. Thank you so much, Brian Shannon. Have a wonderful rest of your week.
Thank you, Sean, and everyone tuning in. Have a good week.
Thank you, Brian. Ciao. That's our Trader Talk, and honestly, an amazing guest one more time there from Brian. So I just want to thank everybody for joining today. We did just have a move down in Coinbase. As Brian was talking, I didn't want to interrupt or anything. I wasn't sure what happened there on Coinbase. I guess Coinbase announces, now I find out. There it is right here. Coinbase private offering right there of 1.5, not a milli, but a billy right there. So $1 billion worth of a private offering does send the stock down until they find buyers, and I guess they did. So right down there, 244. It's not by any stretch of the imagination anything to worry about for Coinbase, I wouldn't think, but maybe these candles are something there. Some rejection on the high side. We just talked about Bitcoin holding highs, and it does look like right now Coinbase kind of rejecting back down. Look, we nailed some things today, man. We nailed a couple of our trades. We can go over the sticky note today if we want to. This was really fun trading Nvidia with everybody at the end of the day. Too bad we got out at 9:10 as it rips to 9:22 here in the aftermarket. Thank you so much for Brian. Here's the sticky note. We talked about having a little bit of a review. Look, I wrote down CPI changes everything, and it did that. CPI downside move comes in at 3.9 versus 3.7, a little bit hotter on that, but it does send the NASDAQ up pretty much all day. After an initial move down, CPI continues to go long. We really love Alibaba long 75, and really, that printed all day, man. The only problem was, it wasn't super exciting. There was just more names to trade. But there's the Alibaba dip. And what I talked about printing all day, here's the move down in early, 940. We could have had that. It does go down to 75.20. Normally we're there buying that. I don't know why we weren't. That was a good call. And then it just printed. That's what I mean all day. In the afternoon, it's often tough to trade some of these Chinese ADRs we recognize. So, you know, Baba, not super exciting there into the end of the day. We did talk about this though. Oracle long off 124. Come on, Apple long off 172. I mean, some of these plays that just hit right there. Apple to the downside. Sure, we tried 172, and when this loads, you'll see what I'm talking about. We tried Apple 172.50 and 172. When that didn't work, we got out. It broke 172, and we just said that was our level. We're out of it. We kind of got excited and started buying a little bit more, and then ultimately put a line in the sand down here at 171. Watch that go all the way back up to the upside. Look at 172.50. Lot of action in there before we bounce up to 174. Getting hit a little bit here in the aftermarket. Don't know why that is. That's Apple, and then look, man, Oracle, and we got to get going here because my guy Fabian, again, everyone working late. We're not going to keep these guys, or myself anyway. Shout out to my family. Hey, it's March break. I hope everybody's having fun with their kids on spring break right now. But there's Oracle. We wrote down what level, guys? 124, or wait 10 minutes and see where VWAP is. Either way, there's 124. It gets down to 124.60 as a bottom. We nailed that one, but we don't have the long, so who really cares? It was a really fun day. I want to thank everybody for joining. I want to thank my guest, Brian Shannon, for another one, another great show. Join me tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have a few more runners into the close, but fun wearing Clover, tomorrow will be bigger names. Thank you so much. Over 3,000 still watching. I want to thank you for that. It's 4:30. We got to run. Join us. Trader TV Sean on Instagram and on Twitter. I'm losing my voice, so I'll see you tomorrow. It's 4:30, but I'll see everybody at 8:30 tomorrow. Trader TV Live. Ciao.